It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes.
Tonight may be championship night for Thursday Night Thunder in the Coast to Coast Racing League at the sprint car capital of the world in the Knoxville Raceway. However, though, it's a different kind of night. It is throwback night where all the drivers get to drive realistic paint schemes you see in the modified world, whether it be the big blocks, the small blocks, today or from yesterday. We welcome you to another edition of Thursday Night Thunder on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, as well as Ultimate Dirt TV. I'm Marty Sakala, joined alongside Brett Wheeler. Brett, 26 drivers honoring a lot of legends in the world of dirt modified racing in the Northeast that have brought home thousands and thousands of wins. This is going to be a treat tonight, and a big thanks we should give a shout out to here as well, Dean Reynolds, for putting this event on tonight.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing to see all the drivers, get behind the throwback night. And not only that, like I said, it's also championship night. So there's a lot on the line for these drivers, both in the small blocks and also in the big blocks. So, to see the throwback Thursday come here on championship night here at the sprint car capital of the world, it is amazing.
Absolutely. I know we've got a lot of you watching live at home on the Coast to Coast Racing Network and Ultimate Dirt TV. If you're watching and you are a driver that's watching your paint scheme, come on out and race. Let us know who you are in the chat. Just make sure you hit the subscribe button before you start typing up your message. Let's begin with some of these familiar paint schemes. The first one I want to begin with is the guy currently quickest in practice. And pardon me, that's Connor Ross, the number 35, honoring Canada Joe himself, Joe Plazik. I also work at the Land of Legends Raceway from time to time, and we recently inducted him as a Land of Legends Wall of Famer, but a Hall of Famer, track champion from Canada. He's one of the most successful drivers from Canada. And I know Connor Ross, his dad Adam, will tell you that straight up. Canada Joe is one of the best big block modified drivers to come out from north of the border. Another driver we want to show you here this evening, let's go to Kurt Schatzer, who's currently second quick in the 218. Normally, we call him Superman Kurt Schatzer, and he has the perfect paint scheme. He is honoring Super Matt Shepard, one of the greatest of all time in dirt modified racing, a 9-time Super Dirt Car Series champion, multi-time Super Dirt Week champion, the best driver in big blocks today. Matt Shepard nearing 500 career wins and just 41 years old. He still continues to grow and grow and grow. Third quickest, Brandon Templeton. Let's talk about his car number in the 31. We're going to call him B-Temp tonight because he is honoring T-Mac, Tim McCready, in car number 4. This is a pretty cool paint scheme. It's the Anthony Salerno-owned number 4, the Kaiser aluminum wheels paint scheme. Tim McCready, multi-time winner in the Northeast in both big and small blocks. He's won both the World of Outlaw and Lucas Oil Late Model Championships. Of course, he is the son of Barefoot Bob McCready. Another familiar paint scheme you'll see out here this evening, making his way through turns 1 and 2. That's the legendary Batmobile. Isaac Salas, the guy we call Slide Job in the Coast to Coast Racing League, is driving the legendary 112. The most famous modified of all time, winning Super Dirt Week in 1980, and was banned from competition right after the race. Gary Below drove the Batmobile. Below himself, a 4-time Syracuse winner, Hall of Famer, hundreds of career wins on both dirt and asphalt. But we're ready to see a lot of these famous modifieds race out here. Brett, what do you say? Let's get ready for heat race number 1.
Yeah, let's take a look at the starting grid. Heat race number 1. We'll see Brian Lawson from the pole position to the outside of the front row. The 97 of Butch Baker lines up out of position number 2. Second row back inside, we go to position number 3. That's Jacob Musso to the outside. It's the 4 car of Brandon Templeton. Third row inside from position number 5. That'll be Marco Vecchio to his outside. Zach Chapman from position number 6. And Anthony Morano will pilot the number 60 machine from position number 7.
Yeah, we see CD Colville watching in chat. Terry Landis honoring him in just a bit, a famous driver out of the late 70s and early 80s. But on the pole position, Brian Lawson honoring Kenny Tremont Jr., a dirt modified legend who will be retiring at the end of the year. This is one of 2 Tremont paint schemes you will see. First off, this is the black and white car. This is his 358 small block. You'll see the legendary red car later tonight, his big block, but Kenny Tremont Jr., Lebanon Valley, Albany, Saratoga Speedway, legendary multi-time champion at both tracks, 393 career wins. In fact, the Multi-Massive Weekend Super Dirt Car Series race at Albany, Saratoga later this year has actually been increased to 115 laps and $11,500 to win. Megan watching in the chat, hope you're doing well as always. We're ready to get going here for heat race number 1, brought to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. Winner starts on pole for tonight's 30-lap feature. It's Lawson and Baker that bring us to green. Heat 1's underway, Brett.
Heat 1 is certainly underway. It'll be Lawson and Baker as they go wheel to wheel through the opening turn past the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum for the first time tonight. And Butch Baker going to lead this field as here comes Musso down to the inside in the 61 car.
Musso looking for the second spot, but contact with the Tremont 115 paint scheme. Luckily they save it, but it's Butch Baker and the Jerry Higbee number 97 that leads the opening lap here tonight. Lawson currently second, Musso third, but here comes the T-Mac race car of Templeton. It's 3 wide for the third position. The 61 of Musso stuck in the middle. Morano took a peek underneath in the Doug Hoffman throwback, but it doesn't work. Still, Baker leads, but it's a 3 wide for second here.
Yeah, good battle going on between Lawson, Templeton, and Musso. And again, here comes the 60 machine of Morano trying to move his way forward. Top 4 going to go through to the main event, Marty. Everybody else will go through to the consolation race. And a little different, we're seeing as though we had 27 drivers signed into the pits, as we still see Templeton goes to the inside there on Lawson. He'll slide up. Lawson turns it back underneath, and they race off turn number 2. Gives second to Brendan Templeton.
Templeton has the second spot. Lawson tries the crisscross, entering turn number 3. Washes up just a little bit, helps out Templeton hold on to the second spot. Musso stuck in the 4th position. Musso in car number 61. He has He has an awesome throwback on his paint scheme. Morano 5th, 6th is Zach Chapman. He just put the mystery machine in the wall. Michael Vecchio rounds out the 7-car field. In this one, Vecchio and the Darryl Carmen throwback scheme. 3 laps to go, though, in this heat. Baker leads by 0.4 of a second, but Brett Templeton is closing in, just pulled off the fastest lap of this heat race.
Yeah, I was just going to say, looking at what we've seen over the past couple of laps, but Templeton has really closed the gap there on Butch Baker in the 97. Meanwhile, Morano is trying to close the gap on Brian Lawson for 3rd spot, but 2 laps left to run right now for the 97 car of Butch Baker, trying to start on pole of tonight's feature event here on Championship and Throwback Night here on Gable Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder. Coming to the white flag, Butch Baker has got half a mile.
Baker's trying to hang on, and that Jerry Higbee 97, the Higbee name, famous at Orange County Fair Speedway. Jerry with dozens of wins at the track, owner and builder of High Fab Chassis, and also an iRacer himself. Ken Butchie put this one on the pole for tonight's feature. Has an opening from Brendan Templeton. Baker shuts the door. Does Baker slide up the racetrack? He hangs on to it. Baker takes the win in Heat 1. Templeton 2nd, Lawson 3rd, Morano 4th. Lawson edged out Morano by 0.05 of a second. They move on to the feature. Musso, Vecchio, and Chapman down to the last chance showdown.
Well, if you thought that was exciting, man, wait till you see what we've still got, because we've still got another 3 heat races to come, plus the consolation race. And ironically, 3 of the drivers that are here tonight will not make tonight's 30-lap feature event. And then, of course, like I said, then we've got that 30-lap feature, but there is heat race number 1 results on screen. Baker gets the win from Templeton, Lawson, and Morano. Those 4 drivers lock themselves into tonight's 30-lap main event. Musso, Vecchio, Chapman, they will go through to the last chance showdown as heat race number 2 gets ready to take to the racetrack. And we'll see Jeff Flarrow in the 200 machine line up on the pole position. To the outside, it's the 3 car of Mark Gilbert from position number 2. Going from the 3rd starting spot, it's the 28 car of Jeff Sharp, and the 11 of Randall Dixon will start 4. 5th is going to be the 35 car of Connor Ross. Joseph Musso in the 63 from 6th. And then we go back to Jeffrey Barker in the 92 from position number 7.
Joe Canales throwing the throwback paints out there, and I'm definitely loving them too. So Jeff Flarrow driving the car number 200. That's the Glenn Steyer's paint scheme. Looks a lot like the 360 Sprint that he runs on Monday Night Madness, the Oshweekend Speedway race car. Steyer's real number is number 0, but Glenn Steyer's the owner of the Oshweekend Speedway, more known for being a winner in 360 Sprint cars. And recently this year, Glenn bought a big block Modify, which is pretty cool to see. On the outside of the front row, Mark Gilbert in car number 017. I love this paint scheme as Mark Gilbert is honoring the Jet. Brett Hearn, one of the greatest modified drivers of all time. Over 900 career wins. He's still active from time to time. Multi-time Super Dirt Week champion, multi-time Super Dirt Car Series champion, and a Hall of Famer. In fact, last November, Brett Hearn won a race in the World Finals, so the Jet still has it at his age. Heat race number 2 brought to you by Langdon Mechanical as we're set to bring this to the green flag. Again, top 4 transfer. Winner starts on the outside of the front row next to Butchie Baker. Who's going to take this one? We're about to find out. Heat 2 underway, Brett. Sharp washes up the track, opens up the chance for Canada Connor. Connor looking almost 4 wide for just a moment. Joe Musso took a risk in the Edmasio 63 ride. However, though, he backed out of it. But it's still a fun race for third. Randall Dixon with the generating turn number 3 in car number 011. See if he can get the preferred line off a corner exit, and he can. Still, though, door panel to door panel into turn 1, but Gilbert's got to run for the lead, Brett.
Yeah, definitely try that inside line after seeing what Flaro done there on the opening turn. And there on the opening lap as Flaro still leads the way from Gilbert. Meanwhile, Dixon and Connor Ross still go at it side by side down through turn number 3 and 4. Give it to Randall Dixon as they work off turn number 4 at the front at the start-finish line. There was half a car length in it. They certainly made contact. Now again, the challenge is on for the race lead with Gilbert looking to the inside there on Flaro.
Let's see what that Brett Hearn throwback has for the Glenn Stiers throwback. However, though, Gilbert hits the berm just briefly, entering turn number 3. That puts him up the track just a little bit. Gap remains at 0.4 of a second. Randall Dixon, currently the last one in 4th. Jeff Sharp, the first one out in 5th. In the Butch Jelly throwback, a famous driver out of Lebanon Valley and Albany, Saratoga. Godspeed as well to Butch Jelly, who passed away in 2020. Right on the fuel tank of the 011. Let's see if he can make a pass work entering turn 1 with 3 to go.
3 to run here, heat race number 2. Again, top 4 will go lock themselves straight into tonight's championship main event here at the Knoxville Raceway. Everybody else, 5, 6, and 7, they will go to the last chance showdown. And right now, Jeff Flaro, Mark Gilbert, Connor Ross, and Randall Dixon, they are your top 4. And Connor Ross is closing in right now on Mark Gilbert as Gilbert goes down to the inside on Flaro once again down into turn number 1 and 2.
Flaro shut the door on him, but Canada Connor has closed in once again. Last lap was the quickest. Sends it in deep into turn number 3 on Mark Gilbert. Ross can't get the drive low on corner exit. Gilbert hangs on. White flag is out.
White flag is out. 1 lap left to run for Jeff Flaro in that 200 machine. And again, they work down the back straight away for the final time. Flaro, Gilbert, Ross, and Dixon nose to tail down into turns 3 and 4. Sharp trying to come back down to the inside as they work off turn number 4. Checkered flag is out. Jeff Flaro will win heat race number 1. Heat race number 2. Mark Gilbert home in 2nd. Connor Ross 3rd. Randall Dixon 4th. Jeff Sharp 5th, Joseph Musso, Jeffrey Barker. Those drives will go through to the last chance showdown. Heat 2 results on screen. Marty, when you take us through heat race number 3.
Here's how they line up for heat race number 3, brought to you by our good friends at Minot, in Minot, North Dakota. That's Top Notch Trucking. Here's the lineup for heat race number 3. On the pole, Gary Sigelkow in car number 25, and next to him, it's Super Kurt Schatzer in the 218. Row number 2, Ed Musso Jr. in the 62. He's next to Dylan Kidsey in the number 083. Row number 3, Brian Dickens in car 122. He's next to the 39 of the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. And starting for the rear, Bob DeGood in car number 7. Those numbers, by the way, they're iRacing numbers. Obviously, a lot of them completely different on the screen. You saw the cars there in the starting lineup. Let's talk about Sigelkow's paint scheme as he is on pole for this evening's heat race. Sigelkow, a pretty cool throwback to, and correct me if I'm pronouncing its last name wrong, Jeff Hetzler, but he's another Hall of Famer, multi-time track champion at both Orange County and Accord Speedways, over 150 career feature wins. We've talked about the paint scheme that Mussos have been paying tribute to all week long to Ed Musso, honoring a family member, only family that will be honoring a member. The very same car that Father Ed drove in Central New York in the 80s and 90s. Dylan Kinsey in that 083, a pretty cool paint scheme. Tributing to the Franklin Flyer, Billy Decker. I believe it's later tonight, if not right now. Hall of Famer and multi-time Super Dirt Week winner with over 300 events won. Bunch of schemes to look at here in a bit, but the iRacing pace car is in. Brett, we're ready for green.
Green flag, heat race number 3. Again, top 4, 8 laps the distance, top 4 to the main event. Championship night, throwback night here at the Knoxville Raceway. And Kurt Schatzer got a good start on the outside, but single code looking back down to the inside, but Kurt Schatzer will lead off turn number 2.
Looks like Matt Shepard leading down the back chute. We had some contact, though, entering turn number 3 between Patrick Spangler to Eddie Musso Jr. Spangler honoring Lou Blaney this evening, the most famous dirt driver out of Western PA and Eastern Ohio. And Spangler's on a roll. He looks for third on Kinsey. Couldn't get second, though, off of Gary Sigelkow. But it's still Kurt Schatzer that leads the field down the back.
Yeah, keeping an eye on Bob DeGood in the number 7 car, in the number 7 car, looking on the outside, looking in. But now here he comes, DeGood to the outside. He will move to position 4 at the start finish line, relegating Patrick Spangler to position number 5. But they go 2 by 2 for second, third, fourth, and fifth. Give it to Sigelkow, Kinsey, and then Bob DeGood has found his way from the back of the bus into position number 4. But here comes Spangler again, working low off turn number 4.
Nearly 4 wide off the corner. Contact again this time between Kinsey and Sigelkow. You could throw 5 of them under a blanket now. You could add in Brian Dickens into the picture. This is insane stuff. Spangler could go 3 wide to turn number 3. He's been rolling the berm, trying to put that left front on it, trying to get the grip on it. Off at turn number 4, Sigelkow with the edge. But here comes DeGood with 4 laps complete.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is the best that Bob DeGood's ever looked so far in this season. 3 wide through the middle goes to contact.
Oh.
No, upside down. 1 car. And
That's Sigelkow.
yeah, and no yellows in heat racing competition, so we're going to stay green for, unfortunately, for Sigelkow and DeGood. They're going to go to the last chance showdown. That'll give Dylan Kinsey second. Patrick Spangler will go third. And Ed Musso Jr., he's now going to be in that 4th and final transfer position.
Tough break for Brian Dickens, who's running a throwback to the Dr. Danny Johnson in the 27J, who has won over 600 features. But all that racing for second, Brett, has helped out Kurt Schatzer pull away in the Hurlock Auto and Speed number 9S. 1.9 second advantage on Kinsey.
I tell you what, Kinsey's still not comfortable right there in the second spot, not by a long shot, because he's got the 39 car and Patrick Spangler. Oh, he was all over the back of him through 3 and 4. Wide flying is out. 1 lap left to go here in heat race number 3.
Down the back chute for the final time for Kurt Schatzer. The 9S looking to start from 3rd position in tonight's feature. You know who's going to win this one. The race for second is a tight one, but Kinsey with the advantage for second. Spangler finishes 3rd. Eddie Musso Jr. 4th. They move on to the feature. Brian Dickens, Bob DeGood, Gary Sigelkow to the B main. But how about it for the man honoring Super Matt Shepard and the Hurlock Auto and Speed Westmoreland Golf Club number 9S Super Kurt Schatzer. And we are just about ready to go for heat race number 4, brought to you by Maurer Farm Management. Brett, give us the starting lineup.
On the pole position will be the 32 car of Logan Wentz. To the outside of the front row, it's the 79 car of Dean Reynolds from position number 2. Going from the 3rd starting spot, it's the 33 JR Machine of Jason Bonifield. To the outside, it's the 112 of Isaac Salas from position number 4. And your 3rd and final row in the inside in position number 5, driving car number 64, that is Joseph Grady. And to the outside from the 6th starting position, it is GJ Boydell from position number 6.
So Logan Wentz starting on pole in car number 118, or also known as car number 32. That number, that is what he normally drives as well. That's the number Anthony Morano normally drives, I should say, as well. But a cool throwback to Tom Princhata. Logan, good friends with Tom, a young up-and-coming sportsman driver out of New Jersey. But Dean Reynolds is always honoring his close friend, Roger Horvath, in that number 79 paint scheme. A driver both modifieds and sprint cars until he retired in 1994. Well, Roger, that same year, was involved in a motorcycle incident that paralyzed him from the race down. Returned to run a hand-controlled sprint car in '94 before retiring. iRacing pace car is in, set for the green flag. Winner starts on the outside of row number 2 in tonight's 30-lap feature. Wentz and Reynolds bring us down. We're back to green.
Heat 4, fourth and final heat race of tonight. We'll see Logan Wentz, Dean Reynolds. Reynolds has got the advantage on the outside. And Marty, that's something we're seeing so far over the last couple of heat races. That outside line is really the place to be, especially on these starts.
Oh, contact, though, between Wentz and Salas stacks the field up. But look at the Batmobile. Isaac Salas, honoring Gary Below, moves his way up to second spot. Jason Butterfield looks for the third position. He can't get it to work. G.J. Boydell honoring Stuart Friesen rounds out the top 5, but here comes 100 grand. Joseph Grandy and car number 64 honoring C.D. Coville as well. He moves his way up to the 5th spot.
And now he's on the outside looking in is Joseph Grady, your top 4. Well, they all run nose to tail, top 3. In fact, they've now started to pull away from the 4th place car of Jason Butterfield. It's Reynolds, Salas, and Wentz, your top 3. And then Jason Butterfield on the bubble right now, looking to start from position number 16 in tonight's main event. 3 down, 5 to run here in the final heat race of the night. Now looking to cut back down to the low side off turn number 2 is the 112 car of Isaac Salas. He closes in on Dean Reynolds down into turns 3.
Salas still going to try to be patient, but guys like Wentz and Butterfield don't really want to be patient. That number 93 tried to get the slider to set up through 3 and 4, and now Salas goes for the race lead in turn 2, throws the slider. New leader of the Batmobile, Reynolds, in the Roger Horvath throwback. Tries to counter it back. The good friends, door to door for the lead. They nearly touch in turn 4.
Well, I'll tell you what, give it to Salas now with just 3 laps left to run. Reynolds will now go back to the second spot. Now here comes the 33 car of Jason Butterfield. He looked down to the inside in the middle of turn number 1 and 2 on the 32 car of Logan Wentz. Couldn't complete the pass. There is no change for the top 4. It's still, well, this time it's now Salas leading the way with tip of the green. 2 to run from Dean Reynolds, Logan Wentz, Jason Butterfield, Grady and Boydell are in the 5th and 6th position, but slowly catching is that number 64 machine of Joseph Grady, closing in on the back of the 33 car of Jason Butterfield. But Marty, time running out, white flag.
Final lap this time by Jason Butterfield trying to hang on for dear life in that Clayton Brewer car number 33 machine. Sends it into turn number 1 to prevent Joseph Grady from slide jobbing him. But the race down the back chute, Isaac Salas hanging on in the Batmobile. The number 112. Here comes Wentz for a run at P2 on Reynolds. He can't get it to work. Butterfield gets tight off in turn 4. Isaac Salas wins heat race number 4. Reynolds second, Wentz third, Butterfield 4th, Grandy 5th, and G.J. Boydell rounds out the field. Top 4 move on to the feature. But now it's B-Main time, brought to you by Gambler Motorsports here, Brett.
Certainly is. We'll just take a look at the heat race number 4 results there on screen, just to confirm that there was no post-race penalties, that there was not. Salas, Reynolds, Wentz, Butterfield, the top 4. Grandy and Boydell will be in your last chance showdown. That last chance showdown is happening right now as we take a look at your starting grid on the pole position. It's the 61 car of Jacob Musso to the outside, the 28 car of Jess Sharp from position number 2. Brian Dickens will roll off out of the 3rd starting position to the outside. Joseph Graney in car 64. He will start from position number 4. 3rd row inside from position number 5. That'll be the 2 car of Michael Vecchio. And then the 63 of Joseph Musso, Musso will start from position number 6. From position number 7 in car number 7, that is Bob DeGood to the outside. From position number 8, driving the 014, it is G.J. Boydell. Then we go back to the second last row inside. Row number 5 inside from position number 9. It's the 72 car of Zach Chapman. To the outside, the 92 of Jeffrey Barker from 10. And the 11th starter, the 11th the final starter, it's the 17 car of Gary Sigelco.
So we've talked about that. Numbers, the Musso scheme that the drivers are running. Jeff Sharp in second. Let's look at Brian Dickens' paid scheme, who starts in 3rd spot, honoring the Dr. Danny Johnson. Also races regularly at my home racetrack in Canandaigua, who has won over 600 features, Super Dirt Week champion, Super Dirt Car Series champion. Danny drove the J. James owned car for several seasons, and Brian Dickens knows the James family well. A great tribute for Danny Johnson for sure.
So we are 10 laps. Top 8, I think, it should go through to the main event, meaning 3 cars are not going to transfer from this one. B-Main getting set to take to the racetrack. They're about to go green, Marty.
Jacob Musso and Jeff Sharp bring us down. Top 8 move to the feature. Bottom 3, they are off to Dingus just a little bit early. Jeff Sharp got on the wall just a little bit early on. Jacob Musso with the race lead. Brian Dickens looks for the top spot after Musso got tight off at turn number 2. 3 wide for position number 1. Nakotas. Johnson tries to throw the slot jump. I'm sorry, Brian Dickens. Musso leads, but we have a grab knob off at turn 4, just about 4 wide, and it involved a transfer spot, Brett. DeGood has it for right now, but here comes Zach Chapman.
Oh, look at Jeffrey Barker in the 92. Now he sweeps into the 8th and final transfer position. Now, again, Vecchio, Boydell. Boy, they've got some insurance position. Meanwhile, look at the top 5. They're broken away, so they've got a 5 car.
Oh, my God! Dickens goes around across the start-finish line up on his side, and he will not race to the feature tonight.
Well, just like that, things can change so quickly in the space of a lap. 3 down, 7 to run. Your top 3, Musso. That's Jacob Musso, Jeff Sharp, Joseph Grenny. They've got nearly a 1-second gap back to Boydell in the 4 spot. Then you got Joseph Musso, Jeffrey Barker, he's had to come from the back not once but twice tonight, especially from the heat races, and now doing it from the consolation race. Right now, he's got himself in a transfer position.
Absolutely. Jeff Barker in the 6th spot, honoring tonight John Barron, a very popular driver in Central New York who passed away last year and was a good friend of the Brewerton Beast. Meanwhile, change for 8th, Michael Vecchio moves up past Bob DeGood, and he wants the 7th spot. Oh, but hang on, James Bond sideways up on the berm. DeGood takes the final transfer spot back.
Well, just like that, halfway home, 5 down, 5 to run. Bob DeGood has got the 8th and final transfer position. Zach Chapman, 7. Jeffrey Barker just in front of him. Meanwhile, there's a challenge on for the race lead. There's a 3-car battle. Once again, Jacob Musso, Joseph Grandy, and Joseph Grandy around the outside of Jeff Sharp. Move Joseph Grandy into position number 2. Sharp tries to come back at him down in the middle into the middle of turn number 1 and 2, but Grandy's got the run on the outside of the racetrack. Coming to 3 laps left to run. Jacob Musso in the number 61 machine. Can he get the job done, Marty? A mile and a half around the Knoxville Raceway.
Oh, I know CD Colville would love to see that car win, whether it be a heat race, a B-Main, or the feature tonight. Just would like to see it take the race lead from the Moose and Jacob Musso. They all stay single file down the back chute. Here comes Grandy for the race lead. Slide job by the 64, you bet. Musso, though, counters it back. He hangs on to the lead. 2 circuits left.
Grandy goes back down to the inside. He'll slide up in front of Musso down into turn number 1. Off for turn number 2. Musso back to the inside. What a slide job you've got for the lead. And now here comes Jeff Sharp from 3rd, looking to go into the race lead. Jacob Musso holding on at the moment. White flag is out. 1 lap left to go. And now Jeff Sharp, he's got an opportunity to take this one away.
Boy, how Grandy hung on to that one, I don't know. Jeff Sharp took a peek downstairs on Musso. Didn't work. Grandy looks around the outside for a second and makes contact with Sharp. He hangs on. Grandy looks underneath for the B-Main win. Does he make contact with Musso? He doesn't. Musso hangs on for the win of the B-Main. Final transfer spot belongs to Bob DeGood. Gary Sigelcal, Michael Vecchio, and Brian Dickens head home early. Oh my goodness, what a B-Main finish that was.
What a B-Main finish, absolutely. And what a B-Main that was. We'll just quickly take a look at the results before I'll hand it back over to you. So Jacob Musso gets the win over Joseph Grandy in 2nd, Jeff Sharp in 3rd, GJ Boydell 4th, 5th. We'll go to Joseph Musso, Jeffrey Barker in 6th, Zach Chapman in 7th, and getting that 8th and final transfer spot is the 7th car of Bob DeGood for Sigelcal, Vecchio. Those drivers will not partake along with Brian Dickens. So like I said, we eliminate 3 cars, but right now, Marty, we've got a warm-up session.
Absolutely, and while we have this warm-up session, instead of going to the commercial break like we normally do, I want to take a look at some more paint schemes we got out here. Patrick Spangler, let's look at his car in car number 39. We call him the high side banger. Tributing Lou Blaney. You can see the Blaney Lumber logo on the side of the door panels. But Lou Blaney, the most famous dirt driver from Western PA and Eastern Ohio, Hall of Famer, has won several hundreds of races, including sprint cars. Lou passed away in 2009. He's the father of Dale Blaney and the grandfather of father of Dave and Dale Blaney and the grandfather of Dale. So pretty cool to see that. Looking at some other paint schemes we have here around the racetrack as drivers start to put up some lap times. Anthony Morano honoring Doug Hoffman in car number 60, a Pennsylvania star who collected many track championships in both big and small block action. 482 career wins he had. Unfortunately, passed away in 2012. Let's see here. Who else can we look at? Trying to see if Randall Dixon is on our list for paint schemes. I don't think he is, so I don't know if we want to say Bob DeGood is driving I mean, this is the regular car Bob DeGood drives, but I guess you could say this is a throwback to Brad Sweet or something like that, the Big Cat, who is the multi-time and defending World of Outlaw sprint car champion. Yes. I would love this. I wish we still had a battle for that between him and David Gravel. That would be fun to watch. So, let's see here. We've talked about pretty much every single driver that has had a tribute car on track. We talked about Gilbert, the Batmobile. We've got our work put in for us. A lot of fun watching these cars. Isaac says, this is so cool seeing these cars out on the track. What about you, Brett? What do you think of this? Well, we are set to go for this feature. 30 laps. Brett, let's take a look at our catalytic recovery starting lineup. Row number 3 on the inside for our feature this evening. The number 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. The 017 of Mark Gilbert. Row number 4 is the 083 of Dylan Kinsey. And the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Row number 6, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler in the 39, and the 32/118 of Logan Wentz. Row 8, the 62 of Ed Musso Jr., and then the 33 of Jason Butterfield. Rounding out your top 20, the number 28 of Jeff Sharp, and the 014 of G.J. Boydell. And rounding out the field this evening, the 72 of Scooby-Doo/Shaggy, Zach Chapman, and the 7 of Bob DeGood. So we are set to go for our first feature of the evening, 30 laps with the 358s. We've got a couple of start calls here ready for you tonight. The first one, we're doing it in honor of the voice, Shane Andrews. Ladies and gentlemen, wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point harness. Grandpa, take out that Kodak camera. A lot of throwbacks are on iRacing. Off at turn 4. Blake Baker and Flaro on the front row. It's showtime.
Well, lap number 1 here at the sprint car capital of the world. Your championship, no problems. Flaro gets into the back of Baker, and Baker hard into the wall, but he keeps it going. But right now, he's back just inside the top 10.
The 011.
Dixon going around. We should be going yellow here, but we will complete their lap number 1, and Jeff Flaro is your race leader.
Wow, very surprised we had no caution, and now the caution comes out. Just a late yellow that flew, but my goodness, a lot of pandemonium on lap number 1 here, Brett. Not just with Randall Dixon, but we also saw the issue with the with the 97 of Butch Baker. And I think he was hoping for that lap to not count, because if that lap didn't count, he would have taken back his pole position.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, they go back to the last recorded lap or the start lap if it happens inside that first lap. But unfortunately for the 97 car, Butch Baker, we do complete the lap, which means he's now at least going to have to restart behind the 35 car of Connor Ross. And that'll put him right around the 10th position.
Not sure if you have a replay to look at so we can show you what happened here, Brett, but there was just a stack up further back where Dixon got into the back of car number 60 and just set up a jam session on the outside. The 33 turns around Dixon, and hard in the wall on the outside was Butterfield at the end of it.
Yeah, replay doesn't want to... Well, I mean, it was working, but... Let me just...
And no worries if you can't get that, so we'll try and get the replay fixed later on here.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, we have it?
Yeah, actually. Let me just do that, just so you know what I'm looking at. But yes, a replay has just been shown. Just kind of a checkup as well from drivers.
So we're coming back to green. We'll go double file on this restart because we did complete a lap. Glenn Stiers and Gary Below on row number 1. Matt Shepard and Tim McCready on row number 2. Brett Hearn, Roger Horvath, row number 3. Billy Decker and Joe Plazik, row number 4. And rounding out the top 10 here, Jerry Higbee and Lou Blaney. We should just do a couple of laps with the real drivers.
All right, I'll tell you what. You want to do it? I'll let you be my guest.
We'll do it for the second third of the race, for the heck of it. I'll do it when we hit lap number 11. But that for the restart, Flero and Salas bring us back down. Green lights are back on. As Flero holds serve, immediately clears on the 112 of Salas. Field makes their way through turn number 1. Here comes Schatzer underneath on Salas. Can't get the drive off on the corner as he washed up the racetrack. But he clears, though, the 4 of Templeton as Schatzer slid it in big time. Up the track he goes. Could give a chance for Templeton for third, but it's still Flero out in front.
Still Flero out in front, but now here comes Shatter to the inside on Salas as they work off turn number 2. Salas has got it. Now here comes Templeton looking to get by Shatter. Then Dean Reynolds in that 79 machine. He's got a top 5, but he's got some company with Mark Gilbert looking down to the inside. They race off turn number 4, and it's still Jeff Flero leading the way right now from Isaac Salas.
Everyone trying to find their way to the high side as much as they can. Gilbert wants to run on Reynolds for the 5th position. Now he immediately clears and washes back up. But the race is on for 7th. Hoosier to Hoosier. It's Connor Ross and Dylan Kinsey. Yellow lights are on, though, as the field makes their way off 4. It's for Anthony Morano. The 60 is in the pits. And this car went flipping.
Well, looking at the replay here, he was 3 wide and then just kind of ran out of room. It's almost like a 50-50 grind, and the rear end was busted in that race car, and then he goes upside down. So, unfortunately, he had to call for a tow, but our racing has decided to throw the yellow, which means, of course, we are back under the safety flag here at the Knoxville Raceway. You were just here about a month ago.
Yeah. Luckily, though, we do have, luckily with Knoxville Raceway, it is a longer track, so Morano does have time to tow the machine up. It's 2 laps to green at the moment, so hopefully he'll be able to get back out on the racetrack without losing a lap. While we are at it, we have 35 people watching in chat, whether it be the drivers in this race themselves or fans watching, families or friends, even the throwback drivers as well. This is pretty cool to see. Let's see if we can hit 40 by the time we take the checkered flag. Make sure you like the video. Share this link with your friends. Tell them to tune in and watch this one. Wild start to this race, though, this evening.
Well, it's only going to get wilder. Yes, we're in the sprint car capital of the world, but boy, I tell you what, the small block modifieds are 358s. They're really going to put on a show here. I'm interested to see how long until that middle line actually starts to go away, because especially when you get around here, you know, you want to go the shortest route possible, especially with these lowered power or lesser horsepower modifieds. Big block modifieds might be a different story. They will be a different story, but the small blocks, I guess it's only a matter of time until we get back to the inside racing line, and that's where it becomes a little bit tricky once again, Marty.
So we're ready to come back to the green and put 5 laps on the board. 25 laps remaining still in this one. And we've already had 2 cautions in this feature. Flaro fires earlier than he did before the last restart, but it's deemed a good restart. We go back to green as the field makes their way through 1 and 2. Just about 3 wide for 4th with Reynolds stuck in the middle. Connor Ross tried to find some grip off turn 2. He didn't. Reynolds and Templeton touch. Dino sends it into turn 3, but here comes Schatzer. He's got to drive for 2nd on Salas. He can't get it to work. Salas still edges out Shepard.
Boy, I tell you what, these drivers, a lot of respect being shown on the racetrack as Templeton slides up in front of Reynolds. Reynolds comes back through the middle. There's Connor Ross. Then you go back to Mark Gilbert in that number 3. Patrick Spangler in the 39. Reynolds sends it deep once again into Templeton, down into turns 3 and 4. But give Brandon Templeton back to 4th spot. But Reynolds tries to find back on the inside. It's going to be Brandon Templeton 4th at the line. Now we go 3 wide as the 3 car of Mark Gilbert right through the middle of the racetrack. And Reynolds now, he's going to slip outside the top 5.
Caution flag is out, so it won't count, though, for the Jet. It is for Jeff Sharp and car 28, who was around in turn number 3. And, oh, my, this was a brutal crash that we just had.
That was Logan Wentz in the 118 car. I nearly called him Anthony Morano.
Barrel rolling side over side. Jeff Sharp tagged the inside wall after contact from, I believe, Zach Chapman from behind. Boy, Bob DeGood also dodged a bullet there with that accident.
So did Jeff Barker in the 92 as well. He come in there late. He was one of the last cars coming in, and he just had to avoid the accident. So do you think with these stop starts, do you think that anybody's going to have anything right now for Jeff Flaro?
Well, Isaac Salas, under one of the green flag laps, posted the fastest lap of this race. So I feel like if we could get a long run, that the Batmobile has something for Glenn Stiers.
Fast lap of the race so far. Isaac Salas, 19.367. Jeff Flaro's last lap, or his best lap, is a 19.410. So those are the 2 quickest cars on the racetrack. There's only probably a handful of guys a sub 19.5. Everybody else sort of 19.6, 19.7s. There's a lot of 19.8s as well, but just goes to show you, man, if you're stuck in the middle of the pack, it's tough to get going. It's tough to move forward because you're always battling with someone.
Something I thought of as well is this is going to be a single file restart, as we have had already 3 double file restarts. With Salas in second, he is a huge Matt Shepard fan and got to meet him at Super Dirt Week, as many of you know, last October. And when Shepard has won in the past at Land of Legends that I've interviewed him, I've told him that my friend from North Dakota and Isaac says hi. Shepard still remembers him. I wonder if Isaac feels like that he's racing Shepard at the moment. I think he is, which is pretty cool. But, Brett, we're coming back to green. Flaro brings us back down. Here we go. 8 laps complete.
8 down, 22 to run. It's the 200 machine of Jeff Flaro. Again, single file restarts. This time we see Salas going to the inside line through turn number 1 and 2, trying to shorten up the racetrack. But right now, it is going to be 0.3 of a second lead. And we'll see how these drivers fare around. We come to 9 down, 21 to go here at the Knoxville Raceway. As here comes Kurt Schatzer closing in right now on Isaac Salas.
The Shepard ride has a run. However, though, got tight, entering the corner. Opens up the door for McCready to look underneath for the 3rd spot. Oh, and the Batmobile and Salas tapped the wall entering turn number 3, but below hangs onto it. Shepard up the racetrack. McCready tries once again for the bottom step of the podium. However, though, it's still Stiers, then below, then Shepard, then McCready. Oh, big run 3 wide for 2nd, Brett.
Oh, Salas got a little tight there. In fact, he had a little love tap there by Schatzer in the 9 machine, and that allows Templeton to move by into the runner-up position. Schatzer and Salas side by side. Give it to Salas at the start-finish time, but it is still Jeff Flaro leading the way here at the Knoxville Raceway. But boy, it's the 4-car Brandon Templeton that is really catching my eye at the moment. And speaking of that, well, here comes the 112 of Isaac Salas.
But watch out as well for the Jet. Brett Hearn scheme of Mark Gilbert. Closed in on Schatzer with the wild race for 4th spot. But it's still McCready and below, side by side for the 2nd spot. 12 laps are complete. Salas looks the longer way around the racetrack. He's got the drive off at turn number 2. The Batmobile has the advantage entering turn number 3, but can he secure it at the start-finish line? About to find out.
He does, just a couple of laps away from half-race distance, and Jeff Flaro has had a clean set of heels so far here in tonight's feature event in what has been 13 and a half laps here at the Knoxville Raceway. Templeton again trying to drive it deep down into turn number 3 on the low side. Off turn 4, he's going to stay right through the slick. He comes off turn number 4, still gives to Jeff Flaro, Isaac Salas, Brendan Templeton, your top 3. Now here comes Mark Gilbert to the inside, looking for 4th there on Kurt Schatzer.
Just a couple of goats on Mount Rushmore. Shepard and Hearn racing for the 4th position. Hearn up the track, it's 3 wide. Horvath in the middle. Blaney down low. Spangler wants to take away that 6th spot from Spangler. Spangler wants it from Reynolds, I should say, and Reynolds barely had it for 6th at the line by about 0.03 of a second as the cross flags went up last time by 15 up and 15 down. But Salas is all over the spoiler of Flaro. Your race is for the lead. Man, did the Batmobile get sideways, but Salas saves it.
Tell you what, Templeton was very close to taking over the race lead on the exit of turn number 2 there on the previous lap, but unfortunately, turns 3 and 4 didn't go his way. Now Kurt Schatzer in the 9 machine to the outside of Templeton in car 4, and here comes Gilbert right through the middle of the racetrack in car number 3. Move Schatzer back to a podium position, but now the challenge is on for the race lead.
Caution! Caution is out, and it's for Lawson, who has gone around in the Tremont ride. Oh, baby, this race was starting to get so good. But the longest run of the race ends for caution. Let's show you what happened. As looks like the Tremont ride just got a little bit squeezed up there.
And Ross in the 35 just come up track just a little bit, but Lawson in the 115. Boy, I tell you what, he got a hell of a run on the outside, and unfortunately, he goes around and also collects a number of other cars and, well, puts about 2 or 3 cars back on pit road. But, man, I tell you what, that battle, it took what was about probably, what, 7 or 8 laps of green flag run?
About, I got. Just about 10, to say the least. But yeah, Salas had a huge run brewing, and it just didn't work out. However, though, I feel like he would have been able to clear for the lead entering turn number 1. He would not have led at the line that last time by if he didn't get loose from, I believe, a bumper from the 4 of Templeton.
I think you're right. So if it takes another 5 laps to get that 112 machine wound up, you got to think if the caution flags happen to fly every sort of 5 laps here for Jeff Flaro, he's going to be very tough to beat because these 358 modifieds, they take a little bit to get going. But man, I tell you, once they get wound up, boy, these boys are really putting on a show here at the Knoxville Raceway.
All right, so we should see the white flag this time by. Should give him nice kudos as well to the driver in 9th position. Zach Chapman started all the way from 23rd position. And Scooby-Doo is up there with the likes of Canada Joe, Roger Horvath, and Lou Blaney. And Jerry Higbee, too.
So just looking at as it stands, Zach Chapman has passed 13 cars, Bob DeGood has passed 8 cars, and Joseph Musso, he has passed 7 cars. So that's your top 3 hard charge. But we get ready, Marty, to come back to the green. 18 down, 12 laps left to run.
And will possibly be the longest 12 laps of Jeff Flaro's life. I can't recall if he's ever won a modified race in the Coast to Coast Race League on a Thursday night as we head back down to the green flag. Top 3 hold serve. Spangler underneath on Gilbert for the 5th spot. Oh, 1 car on the track. Oh, there's the drivers that. Whoa! That was tight there. Flaro up the track as the drivers involved in the wreck were coming back on track to try and stay a lap down. Here comes Salas for the lead with 11 to go.
Well, it might be a championship, might be throwback week, but boy, what a crazy move that was. I think that's Lawson in the 115. Again, trying to stay on the lead lap. They go 3 wide. Salas on the inside. Flaro through the middle. They're 3 wide for about 6th position right now. But Flaro, he is still going to lead the lap. He'll come down to the inside, down into turn 1 and 2. 10 laps left to go here at the Knoxville Raceway.
I think they would say, oh, yellow is out for Jacob Musso in turn number 1, so that gets rid of the back markers. And, oh, man, the 61 Musso throwback is crab walking, and he had a heck of a ride in turn 1.
Oh, he almost went 50-50 grind style there on the guardrail on the outside. Like you said, crab walking, that rear end is busted in that 61 car, so he'll go back to the pits, and well, we can see there on screen, once these cars crab walk, Marty, they are very, very difficult to turn.
Also collected as well the 62 of Eddie Musso Jr. But, oh my goodness, with those back markers coming on track, it was Lawson and I think it was Logan Wentz too. Flero nearly got wrecked in that and hung on for dear life. That would have been, I think they call it in Australia, a crikey moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we can go crikey. We'll call it a crikey. Yeah, that was a weird and wild moment.
But luckily, everyone kept it straight in that situation and did not take out a lot of good contenders to win it.
So Lawson going to be 2 laps down. Morano going to be a lap down. And probably the caution not coming out there at the right time there for Lawson, but certainly the right time for Jeff Flaro. And now we're going to be inside single-digit laps remaining. We are 9 laps left to run. And boy, this 200 machine of Jeff Flaro looking to get a win here at the Knoxville Raceway. The 358 Modified. It's the first of 3 races on the program. And Marty, you're on for a triple header here tonight.
Absolutely. I'll be on for the big blocks with Brett, and then Brett will sign off after that. I'll be calling the Cup race at Daytona. And we are definitely looking forward to that one as we get set for the restart. Final 9 laps of the 358 season. Tight points-wise between Patrick Spangler and Jeff Barker without the drops. We'll find out who is champion the next 9 laps as we're back to the green flag.
So it'll be Flaro once again opening up, half a second lead over Isaac Salas. Salas looks to close in down the back straightaway, cuts down 2/10 of a second of that lead. So now here comes Schatzer trying to work back to the inside, but Salas is getting a run, and now Salas, he has got the 112 machine wound up, and he picked up basically 3/10 of a second as Schatzer goes down to the inside, down into turn number 1 and 2, but Salas back to the outside. Boy, what a battle you've got for second and third, and now here comes Brandon Templeton closing in on Schatzer down into turn number 3.
Dallas searching for options off turn number 4. He may have the high side working in handy once again. Gap is 1.5 car lengths with 7 laps to go. Salas high, wide, and handsome in turns 1 and 2. He gets the drive off in time, tries to diamond it. Does he set up a slider underneath? No, he doesn't. Through turns 3 and 4, Flero hanging on for dear life. Flero washes up the track. Here comes Salas with 6 to go. Your race is for the lead.
Down into 1 and 2, slide job by Salas on Flaro. He's going to clear him well down on the exit of turn number 2. And as long as we don't go yellow, Isaac Salas is going to be your new race leader. The tyres may be starting to go away on the 200 machine as Flaro goes back down to the inside. Isaac Salas is going to lead what is lap number 25. 5 laps left to run here at the Knoxville Raceway as Kurt Schatzer goes to the inside down into turn number 1 and 2.
The glass slipper nearly fit for Flero, who was looking for his first ever win in 358 competition. Schatzer slides up the track, could have a chance for Brandon Templeton, looking like Larry White there in turns 3 and 4, as high as you can get. 4 laps to go. The race is on for second between Flero and Schatzer for P2. Everyone trying to get on the high side, which is helping Salas pull away.
Yeah, I'm very surprised to see these drivers try and work the outside of the racetrack, trying to get 4 wheels in the fluff, right up near the guardrail, right up near the wall. 1.5 miles to go right now for Isaac Salas in that number 112 machine. Here comes Schatzer down to the inside. He looks for the runner-up position. He's got it through turn number 1 and 2. Now down the back straightaway, Jeff Flaro with 2.5, make it 2 to go for Isaac Salas.
For Randall Dixon. Randall Dixon spins in turn 2. And second at the line was Flero. Oh, baby, oh, baby.
What a way to end up on championship night here in the 358 modifieds with Marty with a green-white checker situation. And you would think, well, Isaac Salas, we know he's good on the starts, but will Jeff Flurry, will he be able to hang on? And now the choice that he's got to make is, where does he go? Does he go to protective mode on the inside into turn number one? Does he go back what was working? Does he try and go through the middle of the slide up? There's a whole bunch of questions that are surely going to be going through his mind that I would love to get an answer from.
Well, we'll see the options Flaro has in just a bit, as, man, Dixon took a heavy lick in turn 2 near the Sprint Car Hall of Fame. But this is the first time tonight we'll have a new leader on a restart, and that, of course, is Isaac Salas. Now, we like to say when there is a single-file restart, he has a free lap. Because of the restart, he gets to fire first, and it takes about a lap for the drivers to get up to speed. So I'm interested in seeing if Salas opens up a huge gap on this restart, which could be enough to help him win it.
He's been, I mean, pretty much every time that Isaac's hit the racetrack this season, he has been one of the drivers to beat. He's had a number of wins. He's had a handful of podiums. I mean, whether it's the 358 modifieds or whether it's the big block modifieds, you know, once what was normally we see as the 5 machine load into the server in that Venom Racing Super Dirt Car Series number 5, normally, like I said, that's the car we're used to seeing him in, but of course with Throwback Week here on Championship Night, once he loads into a server, you know he's going to be the one of the guys to beat. But Marty, we come back to a green-white checker here at Knoxville.
We're excited for this one. Who is going to win on Throwback Night in the 358? Oh, that would be pretty cool to see that Batmobile win, but any of the drivers here that have these cool throwback schemes, whoever wins, it's going to be awesome. Salas brings us back to green. 2 laps to settle it, Brett.
2 laps left to run here at the Knoxville Raceway. Ken Salas, can he hold on to a victory? Flower nearly 3 wide down back there through turn number 1 and 2 for 3rd, 4th and 5th, but they spread themselves out down the back straightaway. Penultimate time, they will come to the white flag. Marty, 1 lap left to go for Isaac Salas.
1 lap to go for the best modified drivers of the Coast to Coast Racing League and Isaac Salas. Driving regularly, car 05, big wreck behind him, Reynolds, Templeton, and Ross and company. But Isaac Salas through turns number 3 and 4. The number 112, the Batmobile, the most famous modified of all time, wins the 358 throwback feature in Knoxville. Flaro 2nd, Chatzer 3rd, Gilbert 4th, rounding out the top 5, Patrick Spangler. But a big wreck happened behind the leaders, and I think it happened in turn 2.
And actually, yeah, just as the leader had already gotten through turn number 1, it happened on the front straight right around at the start-finish line. Reynolds got a run on the outside of Templeton, and unfortunately things just took a turn for worse and caught out a number of drivers. But tell you what, let's take a look at the official feature results coming up on screen here on Championship Night. The 358 modifieds, their season is done, but Isaac Salas will get the win from Jeff Flaro, home in 2nd, Kurt Schatzer, Mark Gilbert, and Patrick Spangler, your top 5. Butch Baker, home in 6th, Joseph Musso, along with Dylan Kinsey, Jeffrey Barker, Bob DeGood. Those drivers round out your top 10. We'll go over the page once again. 11th through to 20th, Zach Chapman, Jeff Sharp, G.J. Boydell, Ed Musso Jr., Dean Reynolds in 15th, Connor Ross, Brandon Templeton, Anthony Morano, Logan Wentz, Jacob Musso, the top 20th, and then the final 4 cars, Randall Dixon, Jason Butterfield, Brian Lawson, and Joseph Grady did not make the start. So we had 23 drivers, Marty, take to the racetrack here on Championship Night, but when it's all said and done, Isaac Salas is going to walk away with your feature race win.
Absolutely. We'll get your top 3 all in here in just a moment. Don't forget the big block race is coming up in just a moment with a lot of legendary drivers a part of that one, too. Let's begin with our 3rd place finisher in Kurt Schatzer with the Matt Shepard throwback. Super Kurt, I guess we'll tell you tonight. Kurt, walk us through your race and how much fun this was tonight to honor a bunch of cool drivers.
Oh yeah, Marty, it was a blast watching these, being out here competing with these guys and seeing all the different throwback schemes out there. It was fun to watch. It was exciting there. It was a good race. Got through with a good heat race and won that, and it got me a good starting spot in the feature there. And I mean, really didn't make too much run in the feature. We were all kind of neck and neck, same speed there. I was talking to Isaac there, apologizing how many times I ran into the back of him there.
Did you feel like your car? Did you feel like your car had anything for Jeff Flero at the time, or not really?
Yeah, I believe so. Right before the yellow came out with, I think like lap 28 or something like that, I was just had them set up enough where I think I was getting ready to put a slider on them. I think for 2 laps I was beside them, throwing it in there pretty hard on them there. I don't know if I might have scared them or not, but I just couldn't shake them enough there before that yellow came out. And then after that, it was just too many laps for me to build my momentum up and for me to have anything to do with them.
Who do you want to give shout outs to?
Man, I got to thank Jay with the Dirt Track Bank and everything they do to help racers all around the country, and our race team there, Hammer Down Racing with Brandon Templeton, Brian Dickens, and Joe Halter. Got Your Six Racing Network with Joe Halter again there. And yeah, you guys up in the broadcast coming out. I got to give a special thanks for Dean for putting this on. This was an awesome event. We all enjoyed running it here. And yeah, the wife and kids for allowing me to do this. My boy was behind me watching the whole time, so I got to give him a little shout out. And yeah, move on, see how Matt Shepard's boys can go and do an engine swap and put the big block in, and see how we can go for a championship hopefully over there.
Yeah, we'll see here if that. I just came back on. I briefly lagged out for a bit, but we'll see if that. I guess he uses a full tip or Wagner engine. One of those two. If one of those big blocks will work pretty well. Bringing our second.
Oh, looks like. Oh, hang on. He's back.
Yep, we've got Jeff Fleur with us, bro. We'll let you take it.
Yeah, so you kept cutting in and out, but home in second spot tonight is the Tiny Machine of Jeff Fleur. Jeff, congratulations on a runner-up finish here tonight. Boy, you led a good part of 2/3 of that feature event, but unfortunately, congratulations, second place we'll have to do here on championship night.
Yeah, well, that's my best run for me in the modified. I like the track as well. I'm learning the modified, and I'm very thankful I led as many laps as I did with who I had behind me. There's a few cars that were probably a little bit better than me, but those yellows helped me get a little farther along, I think.
Mike, turn one of the fastest laps of the race. What was your game plan starting on the front row? What was your game plan and going into this main event?
Come out of turn 2 on the first lap, number 1, and just cross my fingers. Try not to. It's very easy to lose momentum, and I've done that quite a bit in the modified, so that was my goal, not to lose my momentum.
Do you think tire wear had an issue as to why you sort of lost the lead there in the end, or was just Isaac too good?
Yeah, Isaac was too good. He was there a couple times on the inside of me, but he's good in those modifieds.
Jeff, I tell you what, well done on the runner-up finish here tonight, championship night in the 358 modifieds. And before we let you go, we'll let you thank everybody involved on this 200 machine.
Yes, I thank you two guys for taking the time tonight. Roger, his team, GSR, Oswego Speedway, my wife for letting me do this. Thanks, guys.
There we go, Jeff Fleur, your runner-up finish. Marty, you got us back once again?
Yes, I got you guys back once again. Let's go to your winner tonight and talk with the driver of the 5, Isaac Salas. You may want to check that Batmobile. Make sure it's legal this time. But, I mean, man, that was not easy to get past Jeff Fleur for the lead there, Slide Job.
No, not at all. I didn't really know where to go, to be honest with you. I thought the bottom was going to be the place to be because usually I'm one of the people that can wrap the bottom really well. And I just felt like I had no speed down there, so I was trying to just kind of follow in his line and then try to figure out what I could do better. And then I was like, we were basically through the race, and I was like, I'm going to go up high. I like it up high. And I got really lucky that it actually was as good as it was.
Absolutely. I do want to ask you something as well for fun. We mentioned this on the broadcast, but obviously you love Matt Shepard. Did you feel like you were racing Shepard tonight in real life, racing Schatzer?
No, the worst part about it is I obviously have my model of frickin' that exact same car from Super Dirt Week. And so it's like every time I look, I'm seeing double because I got the car right below me and I got the car on the screen with me. I was like, oh, geez.
So,
But yeah, say hi to Matt. Say hi to Matt for me.
I will. Next time I see him, I will. But walk us through your pass though on Flaro to get it done.
Yeah, honestly, I knew that this old Batmobile could send it pretty hard in the corner and make it stick, and kind of got my suspension set probably right about that midpoint of the corner, and I just could launch it, and make that backstretch crazy long. And once I felt like I had enough momentum to him, he gave me the option to get down to the bottom there and throw something. And even if I didn't make it work, I kind of just wanted to make him worried and make sure he still knew I was here.
Who do you want to give shout outs to?
Yeah, obviously big shout out to Dean in the Super Dirt Car Series, all those guys over at Venom Racing. Thanks to my Gramps and Top Notch Trucking, I can see him in the chat in between. Thanks to Magnum Race Designs, Got Your Six Racing Network, Arson Trackside with you, sir. Mission 22, everything that they do for our veterans, man. It's they do amazing stuff. Everybody here in Coast to Coast, for doing this kind of throwback, kind of pick and choose your driver that you want to truly represent. And man, I'll tell you what, I was loving every single second of getting to see these cars on track. Thank you guys for the broadcast. I always love getting to talk to the both of you. You're both amazing people. Make it really entertaining. Thanks to everyone that's watching. I know that hopefully we put on a pretty good show for some of the people that get to watch this and might have seen these cars back in the day in real life and stuff like that. And yeah, other than that, early congratulations to Malachi and his wife. I know they're expecting their daughter here in just a couple hours, so just want to tell them congratulations, and I'm excited for them. And other than that, just thanks to my friends and my family.
Well, awesome job tonight, and congratulations. And Gary said that he'll say hi to Matt for you on Saturday when he goes to the Valley.
Also, thank you to Gary. It's awesome, getting to support his car, and got to meet him at Super Dirt Week last year. It was just for a couple minutes, but it was awesome to see the car. It was good to meet him, and yeah, it was awesome. Like I said, I have no other words than it was just amazing to meet him.
He'll probably take a pic with Matt again just to make you jealous. Just saying.
Oh, great! Can't wait.
Alrighty, man. We'll let you go. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you, fellas.
Well, Isaac Salas is your winner. Also want to give congratulations to Patrick Spangler. He is the 358 champion for the season. We have to step aside to a break, so Brett can get set up for the big blocks as we are behind a little bit. Stay with us. Big blocks coming up next here in Knoxville on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
For Lucy Olsen, she has her first point. Yeah, Lucy Olsen, talented sophomore.
Welcome back to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Big block action about set to go down here, and we are pumped up for this one. 30 drivers with us, Brett Wheeler, for this one. Some of the similar schemes, but we got some new paint jobs out there on the racetrack. But these 800 horsepower beasts of the Northeast ready to go to work.
Yes, they certainly do, and they're certainly ready to go racing here. And again, a very, very strong contingency of drivers. 30 cars, like you said, have signed in to the sprint car capital of the world. Coming off 27 and what we just had in the 358 modifieds. And well, it's throwback night, it's championship night. Boy, I tell you, it cannot wait for this final race of the regular season to find out who walks away with the Big Block Modified Championship.
Well, we are going right at it with heat race number 1. And this could be a good heat race. Heat race number 1 brought to you by our good friends at Flatline Racing Bodies. Let's give you the starting lineup for that heat. On the pole position in car number 32, that is Anthony Morano. And next to him, it is the number the number 4, of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. Row number 2, it's the 014 of GJ Boydell and the World 12 of Slide Job, Isaac Salas. Correction, I forgot. Anthony Morano always in the number 60. Row number 3, the 63 of Joe Musso and the 28 of Jeff Sharp, rounding out the field on the grid this evening. The 007 of James Bond, actually in car number 2J, that is Michael Vecchio. And in car number 79, that is Andrew Smith.
So we're looking forward to this one. Heat ranks number 1 of the big block modifieds here at the Knoxville Raceway. And Marty would just come off the 358 modifieds in what was a very, very entertaining feature race all from start to finish. But we're getting ready to go green off turn number 4 with heat race number 1.
Winner starts on pole position for tonight's 30-lap feature. Templeton and Morano set us to bring us to green. We're underway.
Down into 1.
And it's Morano that gets off to the good start off of 2. Templeton just gets into the bumper of Morano. Gets a push as well from Salas. The Boyd out to the inside for second spot. Templeton, the two nearly touch. Here comes Salas around the outside for second. Can't get it to work as Morano leads lap 1, Brett.
Yeah, Morano does lead the opening lap, but Templeton goes down to the inside. He gets those left side tyres on the inside berm. Here comes Salas. Salas to the outside. Salas into the wall. He's going to lose the second chance at the second spot, but there's a battle on for the lead. Templeton, Morano, who's going to have it off turn number 4? Templeton's got the run on the inside, but no, Morano will lead what is lap number 2.
Templeton rolls it on the baby bottom as the two cross over. Morano decides to dive in the corner as they are door panel to door panel into turn number 3. Morano looks for a run. He washes up the racetrack. Here comes Salas looking to close in. Just had a change for 4th as well. Jeff Sharp took the 4th spot away from GJ Boydell. Remember, top 4 transfer. Everyone else down to the B main.
Morano went a little bit high into turn number 1. He loses a bit of ground to your race leader, Brandon Templeton, at the line. It'll be cross flag sticks, 4 down, 4 to run. Templeton from Morano. And then you go back to Salas, who was your 358 modified main event winner. And right now, he's in position number 3. At this stage, he'll start 9th in tonight's feature event. That's still inside the top 10. But even then, he's still got his work cut out for him.
Templeton currently the quickest car in the Tim McCready Anthony Salerno throwback, a 1908 in the Kaiser aluminum wheels machine. Second is Morano, 1917 last time by at the line. But every lap, Templeton just gets faster and faster and faster. Race for 4th. Let's go to that as Joe Musso gets into the wall. But the race is on between Jeff Sharp and Boydell. Boydell diamonds the corner. 2 laps to go. This time by here, Jeff. Or I'm sorry, Brett.
I know you're looking at Jeff Sharp, so I'll take it. I'll just run with it. Boydell goes down to the inside. Boydell has the 4th and final transfer spot off turn number 2. Sharp comes back to the inside, down into turn number 3. Boydell to the top side. Sharp to the inside. Salas just in front of them trying to come after Morano. White flag is out. 1 lap left to go at the line.
My goodness, Boydell and Sharp are duking at it for the final transfer spot. Last lap, Boydell had a sexy slide job in turn number 2. What's going to happen through 3 and 4? Sharp sends it in deep, looks to put the bumper. Doesn't work off in turn number 4. Templeton wins the heat. Last lap pass and Salas edges El Morano in the Batmobile, barely. Boydell rounds out the top 4. They transfer to the feature. Sharp, Musso, and company on back. They will move to the B main.
Templeton, Salas, Morano, and Boydell will be confirmed your top 4 that will move on to tonight's main event as we get ready for heat race number 2. Your lineup will look like this on the pole position. In car number 97, that is Butch Baker. To the outside, the 61 of Jacob Musso from position number 2. We go back to the second row inside from position number 3. Car number 32, that is Logan Wentz. To the outside from 4, it's the 27 of Brian Dickens. And you go back to the third row inside from position number 5. It's the 011 machine of Randall Dixon. To the outside, the 92 of Jeffrey Barker from position number 6. And your 4th and final row, the pair that finished up on the podium in the inside from position number 7. It's the 200 machine of Jeff Flurry. To the outside, it's the 9 machine of Kurt Schatzer from position number 8.
So we are just about ready to go for heat race number 2. Winner starts on the outside of row number 1. Remember, Baker started on the pole in heat race number 1, the 358s, and was able to win pole for the feature. He could start on the outside of the front row.
Jeffrey Barker.
All these throw.
I was going to say, Jeffrey
What's
Barker again. Jeffrey Barker, he's had no luck when it comes to the randomised heat race grid draws. You go back to the 358s, he had to start 7th in that one, and now he's having to come from position number 6 here in the big blocks.
Well, remember, has to finish in the top 4 in order to transfer on. Let's know who you're rooting for. In the chat, Canales was rooting for Boydell in Heat 1 and just made it in barely. So we did hit 35 as well. I think we had 40 at one point briefly. I can't remember, but we did hit 35. Let's see if we can hit 40 later tonight. But it's Baker and Musso that bring us to the green flag. Oh, in the wall already, the 27 of Dickens. And it stacked up both Barker and Dixon. And the bad luck continues for the Brewerton Beats, Brett.
Car capital of the world, but right now Butch Baker will lead here on the opening lap. Logan Wentz in that number 32 machine. He is in the runner-up position. Jacob Musso back there in 3rd. Then the 27 of Brian Dickens. He's got the 4th and final transfer spot, but here comes Jeff Flaro down to the inside, down into turn number 3 and 4. Looking for a transfer spot is Jeff Flaro.
Remember, he was hanging on for dear life in the feature. He's probably hanging on for dear life even more because here comes Super Kurt. Underneath he goes for the 5th position. Had the advantage in the center of the corner. Flaro back on the gas first, hangs on to it. Meanwhile, Musso underneath on Wentz. Slide job for the 2nd spot. Chaos further back. Schatzer and Flaro get into it and opens up a huge gap for Brian Dickens in the doctor's ride.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, he's got a bit of breathing room right now. It does. Brian Dickens in that 27. There was problems in contact between Musso and Logan Wentz. Logan Wentz coming out better out of that exchange as we come off turn number 4. We're 4 down, 4 laps left to run. Butch Baker, he has got now less than what is 3/10 of a second as Logan Wentz closes in. Wentz goes to the top into turn number 1. By the time he gets to the middle of 1 and 2, he's already trying to dom in the racetrack and cut it down to the inside. And now you've got a battle starting to brew for the race lead. Baker, he is going to have some problems right now with Logan Wentz off turn number 4.
A nice diamond from the 32 to pull up side by side into turn number 1. He was working higher exits than the 97, which was helping him move closer and closer to the Higbee ride. As they were door to door off of turn 2 barely. Baker edges out by about 2 car lengths in the center of 3 and 4. 2 laps to go to find out who starts second in tonight's 30-lap feature, Brett.
Yeah, whether you start second or whether you start position number 6, there's a lot on the line. So there's essentially 3 rows between this one as they work down the back straight away. Here comes Wentz down to the inside looking for the race lead. I thought he was going to try and go for the slider. Baker trying to pinch him down off turn number 4. Your races for the lead. Who's going to have it at the line? Logan Wentz will lead lap number 7. White flag is out, Marty.
Wentz through a slide jump into turn 1. Baker's got one final chance. The 2 drag race down the back chute. Final corners in heat race number 2. Baker throws the slide job up on Wentz. Who gets on the throttle first? Off for turn 4. Logan Wentz wins the heat race. Oh my, that was fun. Musso 3rd. Dickens rounds out the transfers. Schatzer, Flaro, Dixon, and Barker down to the B-mains. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was only heat race number 2.
Just think we've got another 2 left to come, but we'll take a look. Heat race number 3, Marty, they'll line up like this.
Connor Ross, Canada Connor, on pole position. He starts next to the number 7 of Bob DeGood. Row number 2, it's Ed Musso Jr. in the 62 and the 17 of Gary Sigelcow. Row number 3, Jason Butterfield. He is in car number 33. He's next to the 3 in the Jets paint scheme, Mark Gilbert. And rounding out the field in the 181, that is Jeff Kemper.
So what do you reckon we see? How far do you reckon Mark Gilbert can come through in that number 3 machine?
We'll just have to see. He was a front runner throughout this race. May have a chance to break into that top 4.
Looks like the lights off and the safety car is in. We're ready to come to green. Heat race number 3, 8 laps on the board. Top 4 to the main event, 5th, 6th and 7th will go to the B main, known as the Last Chance Showdown. Green flag is out with Connor Ross leading the field.
Ross gets the advantage to good with the drive off at turn number 2. Works out well for him. Butterfield in 3rd. How about Jeff Kemper? Moved his way up to 4th from the grid. I think we had some guys take some EO welds, but net code with him in Butterfield. Kemper hangs on to it. Eddie Musso Jr. looks for the 4th spot. First lap is on the board. It's led by Connor Ross. Here comes Gilbert, though, underneath on Musso Jr. for 5th. Doesn't work out, but they are nearly side by side for 2nd, Brett.
Yeah, DeGood still holds on to the runner-up position right now is Jason Butterfield in car 33, trying to better that starting spot in tonight's main event. But right now, well, I was going to say Bob DeGood, but Jason Butterfield swept around the outside as DeGood. Well, not sure what happened there to the number 7 machine, but now he's got some problems because here comes the 181 machine of Jeffrey Kemper looking to the outside down into turns 3.
He's been starting to become a really improved modified driver, a regular dirt driver in general, compared to last year, in my opinion. Nearly won the Rebels Championship on Monday night. Race for 5th, meanwhile, Mark Gilbert against Eddie Musso Jr. Gilbert's able to clear for the 5th spot into turn number 3. And the Budweiser King of Beers entry now tries to chase down Kemper. Halfway home, 4 up and 4 down. Connor Ross still leads by 2/10 on Butterfield. Oh, and the quickest lap for the 33, 19:29 last time by.
That is the quickest lap for Jason Butterfield. Quickest car in the race so far just happened to be Mark Gilbert there with a 19.284. He's got it by 1/thousandth of a second. But right now, it's not about the quickest lap time. It's about being inside the top 4, and it's about being in the battle for the race leader. But Connor Ross still holds on to the number 1 position. But I'll tell you what, Jason Butterfield, he was nearly a 10th quicker right now as he is closing in hot and fast on the back of the 35 car of Connor Ross.
I think he just wants to play it patient for right now, and at this point maybe force Ross into making a mistake or make a run to the inside just like this with 2 laps to go. Pulled up to the door in the center of 1 and 2. A drag race down the back chute once again. Does Butterfield send it into 3 and 4? Yes, he does. Coming to the white flag this time, Brett. Canada Connor or Jason Butterfield, about to find out.
Well, half a mile away for one of these drivers to start from position number 3 in tonight's main event. The other will start from position number 7. They come past the Brian Clausen Sweet Tower. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Ross to the top shelf. Butterfield looked out of the inside. Couldn't complete the pass. Connor Ross comes off turn number 4. He will be victorious in heat race number 3. Second to go to Jason Butterfield. Bob DeGood will come home 3rd. Jeffrey Kemper will get the 4th and final transfer spot. Mark Gilbert will come home in position number 5. We'll just quickly take a look at the rest of the results. Ed Musso Jr. will come home 6th and Gary Siegelkow in position number 7 as we get ready for the 4th and final heat race of the night and also on championship night and throwback night here at the Knoxville Raceway.
Here's how they look. Your starting lineup for heat race number 4. On the pole is Brian Lawson in the Kenny Tremont 115 ride. Next to him, it's the 72 of Scooby-Doo Shaggy, Zach Chapman. Row number 2 on the inside in the Roger Horvath throwback, the 79 of Dean Reynolds. And in the Lou Blaney throwback in the 39, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Row 3 on the inside in car number 64, I believe that is honoring Jumpin' Jack Johnson, Mike Grandy Sr. in the 65. He's next to 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Rounding out the field, the Bailey Decker paint scheme, the 83 of Dylan Kinsey.
So, final heat race of the night as we get ready. Heat number 4, championship night, throwback night as well here at the Knoxville Raceway. 8 laps on the board, top 4. Once again, we'll get the 4 final transfer spots directly locked in from the heat races. And we're green flag with Brian Lawson to lead the field. But here comes Chapman, who's fending off the challenge right now from Dean Reynolds in the 79 machine. Reynolds dives down to the inside. Patrick Spangler nearly gets into the back of Miss Chapman, who sweeps around the outside. Oh, Dean Reynolds and moves Zach Chapman back to the runner-up spot. 1 down, 7 to go. 3 wide down into turn number 1 and 2. Look at Spangler rolling inside.
Oh my, that's the lowest I've seen any modified driver do that. Dean Reynolds was thinking, where in the world did that come from? Spangler up to 3rd. He's looking for 2nd on Zach Chapman. May have to retire that nickname. He is rolling it on the baby bottom well as Chapman and Spangler all over the 115 of Lawson for the race lead down the back.
What a battle for the race lead as we work down into turn number 3 and 4. Lawson, now Spangler to the inside on Chapman as they work off turn number 4 at the line. Give it to Patrick Spangler. He will be in the runner-up position, and now coming after the race lead. Boy, Spangler, boy, he is really making it work on the inside. You drag racing down the back straight away for the lead down into 3 and 4. Lawson on the outside, Spangler on the inside. Who's going to have it off turn 4? We're at the half race distance. It's going to be Lawson, I think. Yes, Lawson has got it just at the line.
Lawson's better on corner exit. Spangler better on corner entry. This time, all left side tires were on the berm, and that may have helped out the third out of Patrick Spangler. Quickest lap last time by the 19.18. Spangler clears to the point. Lawson, Chapman, Reynolds, they're the transfer spots with 3 to go.
He's got the quickest lap by 0.2 of a second. That just goes to show you right now, the 39. He is hooked up right now on the low side with just 2 and a bit to run as they work down into 3 and 4. Your top 4 on screen, Spangler, Lawson, Chapman, and Reynolds. Then there's a bit of a gap back to the 83 car of Dylan Kinsey. We'll see what Chapman can do here in the final stages of heat race number 4. Fourth and final heat race of your Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder Championship night and throwback night here at the Knoxville Raceway. Matey coming to the white flag. 1 lap left to run, and Chapman on the inside of Lawson.
Shaggy looking for that second position, takes it away with 1 lap to go. It's Patrick Spangler in the Lou Blaney throwback out in front by a half second. Chapman clears. Lawson nearly gets in the back of him, and that stacks up the field. Lawson's in the wall. Here comes Reynolds running for third. May look for second. He has to back out of it. Off for turn 4. Spangler wins heat race number 4. The race for second of the line, give it to Chapman, followed by Lawson and Reynolds. Kinsey, Grandy Sr., and Landis move on to the B main.
Holy cow is all I can say for that one. Heat race number 4. Your results on screen. Spangler confirmed your winner. Chapman, Lawson, Reynolds confirmed going to the show. Kinsey, Grandy, Landis go to the B main. And that B main, that'll happen right now, Marty, with your starting lineup.
On the pole position, Jeff Sharp racing in car number 28. And starting next to him in the 218 and the 9S, that's Super Kurt Schatzer. Row number 2, Mark Gilbert in the number 3. He's next to Dylan Kinsey in the 083. Row number 3, it's Joe Musso in the 63 next to the 200 of Jeff Flero. Row 4, the 62 of Eddie Musso Jr. next to the 64 of Mike Grandy Sr. Rounding out the top 10, the 79 of Andrew Smith. He is next to the 011 of Randall Dixon. Row number 6, it's Gary Sigelcow in the 17. Next to the Desert Demon, Terry Landis in car number 161. Rounding out the field, the number 2S of Michael Vecchio and the 92 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker.
14 cars, Marty. What is going to be 10 laps around the Knoxville Raceway with only the top 8 going through once again. This time we're going to send 6 home. We sent 3 home in the 358 modifieds. We're going to double it. We're going to send 6 home here in the big blocks. Your B main getting ready to take to the racetrack, ready to take to the green flag here at Knoxville.
Top 8, I believe, move on to the big show. Everybody else has to go to Dingus just a little bit early as we are underway. Sharp gets the jump through turns 1 and 2. Nice round corner exit for Schatzer in the 9S. He moves up to second. He looks for the race lead on the 28. Longer way around upstairs as Schatzer nearly bites the wall. Gilbert in third, race for 8th. Final transfer spot has Eddie Musso Jr. out in front by 2 car lengths on Andrew Smith. Schatzer, though, wants the race lead.
Schatzer along with Gilbert, they run nose to tail down through turn number 1 and 2. Now you're watching Sharp trying to fend off the challenge here from the 9 machine of Kurt Schatzer. Schatzer right through the middle of the racetrack and sweeping around the outside. You've got a new race leader at the line at the end of the second completed lap.
Let the line by just about a door. Andrew Smith, meanwhile, are running Eddie Musso for the final transfer spot. Smith, though, gets all left sides up on that berm as he hangs onto it with a challenger behind him for 9th. That is Jeff Barker. But out in front, nice race for second. Here comes Gilbert up to the quarter panel of Jeff Sharp.
Now Sharp needs to be careful. He needs to try and move up a lane just to take that line away so he doesn't get freight trained around the outside. There is an opportunity for him to move up if he wants to, but right now he's going to fight back. Well, he'll fight back right through the middle as Gilbert goes around the outside. Now here comes Dylan Kinsey in the 83, looking to do exactly what Schatzer and Gilbert have done on Jeff Sharp as they work down into turn number 1. 4 down, 6 to run at the end of this completed lap. Marty, we're going to be halfway home here in the final B main of the season.
And Andrew Smith was side by side with Eddie Musso Jr. in turn number 2. He sends it in. Remember, this is the race for the final transfer spot as we take 8 to the feature. But he got a little bit bumpy, bottomed out in turn number 4, hangs onto it. Here comes Barker for the 9th position.
Following Barker is the 161 machine of Terry Landis. Landis again, he's a couple of spots out of tonight's main event. Barker will be the first car to miss out should he finish in the 9th position. But right now, Eddie Musso Jr., he has got the spot you're watching. 9th and 10th on screen. Barker and Smith continue to battle side by side. Barker gets away from Smith in the middle of turn number 1 and 2.
Eddie Musso Jr. looking for the 7th spot on Joe Musso, but is it worth it to put that, to pass his family friend up to P7? Not too sure on what's going to happen there on that side of things as we have 3 laps to go in this heat race and Barker closes in door to door in turn 2 with a 62. Eddie Musso Jr. with the better drive off corner entry. 3-car race for 7th, and here comes Barker through 3 and 4 for the final transfer spot. 2 sticks in the air, 2 to go, Brett.
Tip of the green right now for Schatzer, but you are watching the battle on for that final transfer spot. Barker's got it from Eddie Musso Jr., but Musso back around the outside, and Eddie looks to fight back down into turn number 3. Who will have it? There's Terry Landis tries to send it in deep down to the inside. Now Barker looking to get 2 for the price of 1. He has got it. Joseph Musso back to the 8th and final transfer spot. White flag is out for Schatzer.
Kurt Schatzer, Mark Gilbert having a good race down the back chute. It's 2 car lengths between the Shepard and Hearn machines. And off at 4, Shepard has it. But here's the race for the final transfer spot. Big run for Andrew Smith underneath for 9. He makes contact with Landis. Final spot goes to Joe Musso. Eddie Musso, Terry Landis, Randall Dixon, Andrew Smith, Michael Vecchio, Gary Sigelkow go home.
Oh my. And just like that, we have our consolation / B main race done. Schatzer gets the win from Gilbert. Kinsey will be your top 3. Flaro and Sharp home in 4th and 5th. Grandy, Barker, along with Joseph Musso in the 63, will get the 8th and final transfer spot. Freddie Musso Jr. Then you go back to Terry Landis. Those 2 drivers are going to miss out, along with Randall Dixon, Andrew Smith, Michael Vecchio, and Gary Sigelkow. 6 cars been sent back, and Marty, we've got yet another warm-up session on the racetrack, and let's obviously take a look at some of these race cars on that we see here in the throwback schemes.
Absolutely. While we do that, I do want to mention as well briefly, coming up next, we have the Cup Trail at Daytona, the final race of the Cup season. Not for the Cup Trail, though. That goes through November. And you're going to want to watch that one. Why? Well, I mean, it's Daytona. I could sell you easily with the World Center of Racing and 50 laps. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Hold on to your seats for that one. You never know who's going to win it until they cross the start-finish line. So that will happen after our big block feature. Definitely recommend tuning into that one, keeping this on YouTube the entire night long. So while we're at it, let's look at some schemes that we haven't talked about yet. Told you about Lawson. This is what Kenny Tremont's running for his big block scheme right now, and I cannot wait to see him race. I believe he's also racing at the Valley Saturday night for Super Dirt Car Series action, but can't wait to watch him race at the end of the month on Malta Massive Weekend. That should be a lot of fun to watch. All right, other paint schemes. We've looked at a lot of them. We haven't looked at Boydell's yet tonight. The Stuart Friesen throwback, obviously a very successful driver in Dirt Modifieds. Many Super Dirt Week victories. Last one coming in, I believe it was 2016 when we ran the first race at the Oswego Speedway. And got a win at Georgetown, I believe, last weekend in the Dirt Modified in a last-minute trip before making his way up to New Brunswick this week for late model racing. So we're cool to see GJ run a Friesen throwback. So we've talked about pretty much everybody on the racetrack here tonight. But it's Salas quickest in the Gary Below Batman ride. The 1912. Connor Ross in the Joe Plazik ride. Second quick, 1926. Brandon Templeton third, 1929. Same with Anthony Morano and Zach Chapman. Let us know as well who you were rooting for in chat. And of course, if you are a driver watching, that have one of these, one of your paint schemes running on the racetrack, let us know. Just make sure you hit the subscribe button before you send your message in chat. and let us know who you are.
Tell you what, these drivers, they've done a good job on these paints, and to get,
They have.
I mean, to get, what was organised about, a week ago to get their cars done and whatnot. Hats off to everybody involved. Dean Reynolds, he's done a phenomenal job in organising this with the drivers.
Well, we are ready to go for our 30-lap feature. Let's meet the field and give you your catalytic recovery starting lineup. On the front row, it's the 28 of Jeff Sharp. Next to, that's the consolation, For the feature on the pole, the number 4 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. He is next to the 32 of Logan Wentz. Row number 2, it's the 35 of Connor Ross. Next to the 39 of the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Brett?
Row number 3, it'll be Isaac Salas from position number 5, the 97 of Butch Baker from 6. Then we go back to the 4th row. From position number 7, it's the 33, Jason Butterfield. To the outside from 8, it's the 72 car of Zach Chapman, Marty.
Rounding out the top 10, it's the 60 of Anthony Morano. He's next to the 61 of Jacob Musso.
Then we go to Bob DeGood from position number 11. From 12, it's the 115 of Brian Lawson.
Row number 7, the 014 of G.J. Boydell, and the 122 of Brian Dickens.
Row 8 inside from 15, it's the 181 of Jeffrey Kemper. To the outside, the 79 from 16, it's Dean Reynolds.
Row number 9, the 9S of Super Kurt Schatzer, and he's next to the number 3 of Mark Gilbert.
Your 19th and 20th starters with Dylan Kinsey on the inside, Jeff Flurry in the 200 outside.
Row number 11, Jeff Sharp at the 28 and the 64 of Jumpin' Mike Grandy.
And your final 2 starters inside position number 23, it's the 92 of Jeffrey Parker. To the outside, the 63 car of Joseph Musso.
Had a problem coming to the green flag. One car is stopped. It's Logan Wentz having controller issues, and he was scheduled to start on the front row. But we're set to come to green this time. And as Gary Montgomery would always say to start the races at Land of Legends, race fans, it's time to sit down and hold on to your seats, because these men, by the grace of God at 800 horsepower, are ready to go to work.
Well, that indeed they are ready to go to work here at the Knoxville Raceway. And Templeton will lead down the back straightaway. Ross trying to fight down to the inside, down into turn number 3 and 4 on Patrick Spangler as we race here on the opening lap. 1 down, 29 to go here on Championship night.
Here comes Spangler underneath on Templeton for the race lead. Ross and Salas both ride the berm in turn number 2. Fireworks still going off. Look out, Zach Chapman is loose down the back chute. Could wad everybody up behind him. Nope, everyone keeps it straight and save it for right now. Spangler, though, still has company. Templeton takes the lead at the line.
Templeton to the outside on Spangler again. Spangler work on the inside like exactly what he did.
Oh, trouble. Mike Grandy, Jeff Kemper, Joe Musso. And Kemper is on 2 wheels. He pulls to the pits. Will we stay green off for 4?
Absolutely we do, because no one is around the 63 car of Jacob Musso. So we will complete the 3rd lap with 27 to run. Templeton again still got the race lead, doing exactly what he did in the heat race earlier tonight with Patrick Spangler. Works to the inside. How long can he stay down there for before he has to decide to move up now? Meanwhile, behind them, you've also got a side-by-side battle for 3rd and 4th between Isaac Salas and Connor Ross. And boy, I tell you what, Salas, he's following line right now. Patrick Spangler to the inside.
Salas was good on the low side in the 358 feature. That's how he won the race over Jeff Valero. Now how does he follow Patrick Spangler here through turns 3 and 4? As Spangler takes the lead back, he's able to clear it barely as he leads lap number 5.
5 down, 25 to run. Championship night, Gambler Motorsports, Thursday Night Thunder. Spangler's still got it down the back straightaway, but I tell you what, Brandon Templeton, now he'll slide it to the cushion in the middle of turn number 3 and 4, cuts it back to the middle of the racetrack. Now getting a run, he's pulled up alongside. Give it still to Patrick Spangler, probably by a quarter of a car length. And as these 2 cars battling out side by side, here comes the 112, but now Templeton looking for a better run down into turn number 3 this time.
Whoa, and Templeton nearly catches the wall. That helps out Spangler to clear and hold on to the lead. Spangler's been hitting that berm just barely on the exit of turn 4, which is losing just a little bit of ground as we've got our first yellow. G.J. Boydell on 2 wheels, and Brian Dickens is also toted to the pits. And we are hearing Dylan Kinsey is also involved in the front end of the 27J is gone.
Yeah, just looking at the replay, drivers were 3 wide on the exit of turn 4 and down the front straightaway. A number of drivers nowhere to go in that exchange. Dylan Kinsey went upside down. Bob DeGood was also involved. Boydell also on his side up, laying up on its side. So that'll call for the virtual tow for a handful of those drivers. Boy, just as that settles down, Marty, with what is 8 down, 22 to go. So we're basically completed a heat race distance already, and your top 4 drivers, Spangler, Templeton, Salas and Ross, they've driven away from 5th place. Now with the field getting bunched back up into a double file restarts, the track changes, the tyres are cooling down, they start to wear in just a little bit. Now they have to think about what they want to do, because they've gotten through the first 8 laps. They've still got to get through another 22.
Absolutely. Best start we have seen so far tonight in this one. And the tires, it will be interesting to see how the tires look and if lanes change on this restart. As Brett was talking about too, Kinsey did go up on his lid as well. He is still in the pits. I believe he has actually brought his car. Oh, he is still towed, rather. And Boydell's still in the pits. Dickens in the pits. Kemper in the pits, who went on his side. So we should see one to go this time by and get our first restart of the night.
First restart, and again, lights are out on the safety car. Spangler again got to the race lead using the low side, doing exactly what he did earlier on in the night in heat race. I think it was heat race number 3 it was where he got that win. Now we'll see if he can hold on here to what will be a victory here on championship night. We come to the green, Marty, off turn number 4. Spangler and Templeton on the front row. Salas alongside Ross in row number 2. Then you go back to Butterfield and Murata in the 3rd row. A lot of good drivers still. Anybody can pick up this main event victory.
Ready to come back to the green flag with 22 laps remaining. Here we go. As Spangler holds serve. Templeton with a wicked send into turn number 1, but he could not get the drive on corner entry. He may be able to get it on corner exit as they are Hoosier to Hoosier entering turn number 3. Kaiser to Kaiser when it comes to wheels. If you look at the sponsor on that number 4 wide for ride. At the line, it is Spangler hanging on, but Templeton could get the lead off at 2 here, Brett.
Yeah, he's really getting the drive and really getting the extra speed on those down the straightaways. Here's Brandon Templeton in the number 4 machine. Drives it deep down into 3. Look at the 33 car. Jason Butterfield just behind them, trying to get around the outside of Color Ross. But here comes the challenge once again for the race lead. Spangler's got it by a front bumper, and that is all that separates the battle for the race lead. And now Isaac Salas as well, trying to make it a 3-way dance, but down to the midway point of the back straightaway. New race leader down into turn number 3. It's the 4 of Brandon Templeton.
Salas, though, is making, and I mean making, this race very interesting. He is just hoping for somebody in the top 2 to make just some sort of mistake. We'll see what happens here as the field makes their way down the back. Still Templeton, Spangler, and Salas. Templeton goes up the track. Let's see if the race lead can belong to the 39 off of 4. It cannot. Good race for 4th, though, Brett, between Butterfield, Ross, and Morano.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. I mean, where do you want to look? Do you want to look at the top 3? Do you want to look at 4th, 5th, and 6th? It doesn't matter where you look. There's always a battle happening here at the Knoxville Raceway. We're just a couple of laps away right now from half race distance. Butterfield with a slider on Ross. Ross turns it back underneath Morano in that number 60 machine. Watching this slide job battle happen between Ross and Butterfield. And again, this time it's Ross once again. Here comes Butterfield. Cuts it back down to the inside off turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Now it's Butterfield's turn to go. And we are yellow here at the Knoxville Raceway.
Jeff Sharper, the 28, went around after a send from Mark Gilbert. And it also collected Butch Baker. That was a very interesting wreck here, Brett, as we look at this replay.
Yeah, just looking at the 3 car. Just getting a little tight. And then Baker involved in that one as well. Just slid across the nose. That was Gilbert sliding across the nose there of Baker. And then poor old Sharp, nowhere to go. Got hit from behind. And then hit basically front on there with the 97 of Baker. But that will bring on the yellows. And, well, that's going to bring the field back to a double file restart and a lap away, Marty, from half race distance. But I'm going to say Isaac Salas, he is patiently waiting, biding his time at the moment, knowing at these bigger racetracks, you've got to save your tyres at the first half of the race to make sure that they are good, especially in those last 5 to 10 laps.
So we are double up, but we are not one to green here. Don't forget, we are coming back to Daytona for our next race for the Cup Series, so you don't want to miss that out right here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. That's going to be an exciting one to watch.
You know, that's the only 2 tracks that I like on asphalt are Daytona and Talladega.
Who doesn't love Daytona and Talladega?
Super speedways, gotta love them.
So we are coming back to the green flag this time. And so it is Templeton and Salas, the front row. Spangler, Butterfield, row 2. Morano and Lawson, row 3. Schatzer, Chapman, row number 4. Musso and Reynolds round out the top 10. So it'll be McCready and below, bringing us back to green.
16 laps left to run here in the main event. And it'll be once again the 4 of Templeton to lead us back to the drop of the green flag. Spangler once again straight down to the inside there on Isaac Salas. They're now battle once again for the runner-up position. Your top 3, boy, I tell you what, Templeton, Spangler, and Salas, they get a very good start and restart to where they can put themselves clear at least 3/4 tenths of a second over the drivers behind them. Salas and Spangler, they are side by side of the line.
So McCready able to hang on. Blaney takes the second spot. Below in third. Oh, look out. The 60s third. And collects Shepard and company. Yellow flag is out. I think that was after the yellow actually was shown because Butch Baker went around in turn number 2. And as the field was slowing down, there was a big stack up. And it was with Butch Baker as he just got clipped off the 64 of Grandy and collected the goods. So that's what brought the caution out. And after the yellow flew, the 60 of Lawson was already sideways, and Schatzer puts Chapman into the wall. But I believe, though, everybody kept it straight.
Yeah, just looking at the replay here, it looked like something went wrong there on the 60 car of Morano, and Schatzer had nowhere to go. Schatzer was coming in behind. He was just running his race, and yeah, it looked like the 60 slowed down big time. Maybe a hardware issue with the wheel or a monitor issue, but as the drivers sort of try to avoid one another, it was the 60 car of Anthony Morano that had the problems.
So ready to come back to the green in just a little bit. We are halfway home, 15 up and 15 down. And this has been a fun race to watch tonight. Third caution of the evening. We have hit 40 viewers, folks. We have hit 40 viewers. Thanks for tuning on in, everyone. Let's hit 45. Let's try to hit 45 before we take the checkers. Tell your friends to share this link, to tune in, like the link as well, and let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. We are 1 to green.
Just saying, we had 41 before we actually went yellow, and now we're actually at 42. So you guys keep sharing it out. You guys keep hitting the thumbs up on the video. Let us know in chat. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Let us know who you're cheering for, who your favorite driver is, what number you think is going to even put a name. Doesn't matter. Just put something in the chat and share this link out. Let's get to 45, folks.
So it's Templeton and McCready, Salas and below, Spangler and Blaney, Butterfield and Brewer, and Lawson and Tremont. That's the top 5 as we're ready to come back to green. 14 laps to go.
Templeton, Salas, and Spangler once again. They get a good restart from Butterfield and Lawson. Lawson in 5th. Here comes Chapman around the outside of Schatzer down the back straight away down into turn number 3. That's your battle for 6th and 7th. They work through the middle of 3 and 4. Schatzer comes back in, but here comes Chapman back to the outside. They nearly rubbed all panels at the start-finish line.
Oh, Chapman's in the wall up on 2 wheels. Spiked it, but he hangs on to it. It's good. Mr. Machine is starting to lose a little bit of power in that number 72. Best race on track. It is Tremont and Shepard for the 5th spot, and Tremont's hanging on. He wants Brewer for the 4th spot. as we complete lap 18, 12 to go.
12 to run here in the final race. Championship night here on Throwback Night as well. Brandon Templeton continuing to lead the way by 6/10 of a second over Isaac Salas again. Salas again, I think, just waiting patiently to bide his time for the back end of this feature event to see if he can double up on wins here at the Knoxville Raceway. 11 laps to go for Templeton. Still watching the 33 car of Butterfield hold off the 115 of Brian Lawson. And again, that's your battle for 4th and 5th just outside. That's up 5. Kurt Schatzer, Dean Reynolds, Zach Chapman, all there, along with Jeffrey Barker. And Barker, I'm pretty sure Barker's passed about 86 cars here tonight.
Oh, Reynolds just got turned off from Chapman. We go to yellow. He was making his way up through the field in the Horvath ride. And unfortunately, he got clipped from behind. Either that or some neck code. Was very weird. You don't normally see a wreck like that often, where you get a bumper full of someone and it was square on. They just get turned like that.
Yeah, I think Chapman cleaned him up there. Got him. Well, I think Reynolds sort of come up across the nose at the start. That initiated the first contact, and then Chapman looked like he let off and then got back on it again and then just hit him square right in the rear bumper. And that's what turned him around in the 79 machine. So unlucky for Reynolds there, and unlucky for Zach Chapman in the Scooby-Doo machine, or the Mystery machine. Maybe needs some Scooby snacks to go with it. He's going to be hungry to come from the back of the field. And just noticing as well that Jeffrey Barker, prior to that caution, even now just sitting there, he has passed 15 cars, so 22nd to 7th.
Biggest mover of the race. I'm also watching Schatzer very closely as well. One of the higher performers in the B main, who actually won the B main, I should say. He's up, once this updates, he's up 11 spots. You mentioned Barker up 16, Flaro's up 10, Mike Grandy Sr. up 11, Joe Musso up 11. Some guys with really good runs, as we'll have 9 to go when we come back to the green after the 4th caution.
So can we get these final 9 laps in here at the Knoxville Raceway? Again, what is championship night here of your Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder Summer Season week number 12. And still got Cup cars to come up from Daytona after this one. And then I think we take a week off, do we, Marty, for week 13 and then come back with the following week?
Week 13, we've got a fun charity coming up on week number 13. Fun runs for Abandoned Cats Rescue in Canada. This is a charity that also means a lot to me because my 2 cats, my first cat was a stray, just walked onto my deck, brought him in, he was safe. Second one I adopted, and I've had them for at least 13 years too, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later on the show. We're back to green though with 9 laps to go. It's Templeton, Salas, and Spangler, the top 3. Salas with a run underneath. He may be saying it's go time. He is still on that thick Lexan spoiler of the 4, but clips the wall. Here comes Spangler for the 2nd spot. Down low once again. Fun race for 4th. Butterfield, Lawson, and Schatzer off for turn 4. Salas still has 2nd with 8 to go.
Yeah, just on that initial restart there, down into 1 and 2. Templeton, the left front, caught the inside berm. That's the reason why he drifted up to the midway point of turn number 1 and 2. And now here comes Spangler trying to dive low on Salas down into turn number 3. They work off turn number 4. Spangler still works the inside line. Side-by-side battle for 4th and 5th. Butterfield's got Lawson at the line. Schatzer and Barker there as well. Look at this. There's the bottom line, and then there's the middle line. Working a treat here at the Knoxville Raceway, Marty.
This is a fun race, that's for sure. This time by 6 to go. Butterfield sends it in, trying to pass Lawson for that 4th position. Won't be able to edge him at the line as the Tremont ride has the advantage for P4. Now what does Schatzer do? Does he help these 2 drivers make a mistake or not? Meanwhile, out in front, Templeton still has company from Salas.
And there's very little between Templeton and Salas. There's now a little over a 1/10 of a second, so he's all over the back of the 4 machine. We've got a handful of laps left to run here. 5 to go. Salas looking to the inside there on Templeton, but Templeton still holds on to the race lead. He's leaving the door open just ajar there, Marty, and, well, unable to kick the door now is Isaac Salas, and now Salas has to follow him through turn number 3 and 4. 2 miles around the Knoxville Raceway, 4 to run.
Salas has something. We know it. When does he make his move? Is he going to wait until 2 to go, 1 to go, or does he make his move now? We'll see what happens in the turn number 3. Templeton shuts the door, but he goes up the racetrack. Here comes Salas for the race lead with 3 laps to go off for 4.
You don't want to give Isaac Salas a sniff at the race win, because if you give him a sniff, you know he's going to take it through 1 and 2. Again, Salas works through the middle of the racetrack just above the slick line down into turn 3. He'll dive it down to the inside. The left front catches a burn one more time. Basically a repeat of what he's done in turn number 1 and 2. 2 laps left to run.
How bad does a Batmobile want to sweep the dirt modified portion? Or does T-Mac hold on off for turn number 2? On the bumper once again of Templeton. They face the white flag this time by Brett Wheeler. Who's going to win it at Knoxville? We're about to find out.
Templeton has got it by 1/10 of a second down to the inside, down into 1. He goes. Salas trying to go through the middle of the racetrack. Will he cut it down to the low side? No, he doesn't. He falls in line. That white flag is out. One final time here on Championship Night, down into turn number 3. Off for turn number 4. Isaac Salas, Brandon Templeton. Brandon Templeton will win the Big Block Modified main event. Isaac Salas will come home second. Third is going to go to Patrick Spangler. Oh my, fireworks going off. And there was fireworks on the racetrack. Marty, what a way to finish Championship Night here at the Knoxville Raceway for your Big Block Modifieds on Throwback Thursday.
That was crazy, and that may have won Brandon Templeton the championship possibly. We'll just have to wait and see. Kurt Schatzer, though, was not the biggest mover, up 12 spots. Again, we'll wait for scoring to give us that.
Baka.
But Morano was a point ahead without the drops, as here comes Schatzer to say good race. I believe he's doing that in place of Dean, who was already DNF'd. Not already DNF'd, who was already pulled the car in for the night. But we'll wait to see who the champion is. But let's go to those results. Brandon Templeton, the winner. Isaac Salas, second. Patrick Spangler, third. Brian Lawson, fourth. Kurt Schatzer in fifth. Jason Butterfield, 6th. Jacob Musso, 7th. Mark Gilbert, 8th. Jeff Barker, your hard charger, from up 14 spots into 9th. And Jeff Sharp rounds out the top 10. Brett?
Yeah, 11th through to 24th. It'll be Jeff Sharp in 11th. Zach Chapman, 12th. 13th, Mike Grandy. Joseph Musso, 14th. Dean Reynolds in 15th. Bob DeGood, 16th. Butch Baker in 17th. And the last car on the lead lap, GJ Boydell in 18th. The lap down along with Dylan Kinsey in 19th. Then we go back to Anthony Morano in 20th. And then the final 4 drivers, Connor Ross, 21st. Brian Dickens, 22nd. Jeffrey Kemper, 23rd. And we know Logan Wentz had those problems there at the start of that one. He will be classified as a DNS. But we'll go trackside. Marty, you'll be chatting with our third place finisher here tonight, Patrick Spangler.
Absolutely. Patrick, how much fun was that race for the lead up front?
That was fun to watch. If I can run third behind Isaac and Brandon, they're probably the best all-around drivers here. Just good on every car they are. And I'm just mainly a sprint guy, so that was fun hanging there in third with them.
Absolutely. What was your strategy throughout the race?
Try to stay as smooth as I could on the bottom, and hopefully it didn't go away. And it was going away about lap 19. And that's when I was starting to lose them. Because unless it's right up against the wall or right on the bottom, I don't know the throttle control in the middle for these cars. And so they were just walking me when I was trying, and they were just spinning tires, I felt like. But those good runs off the bottom in the heat race and the start of the feature, so I just wanted to stick down there. And I had a big gap over fourth, so just trying to keep the podium finish there.
Well, it was a great run. Who do you want to give shout-outs to for this performance?
Just you and Brett for putting on the awesome broadcast each week. Rod for on the league. Dean for coming up with the throwbacks. Train Wheels Racing. Dad Uncle back home watching. What else going to say? Oh, and that points race. I don't know if you guys have looked at it yet, but the 2X, the points would have been tied tonight if Kurt didn't get that 2X. I just saw.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Would have ended in a tie. So I'm not sure how he got. I don't know how he got the 2X, but yeah, that's crazy.
And I think the tiebreaker would have been by IL, correct?
I'm not sure. I don't know if we've ever had a tie. I'd have to go to Roger on that.
We have. I think we have too. I don't know, but anyway, we'll let you go. Great job tonight, and hope. Are you going to see that in the Cup race or no?
No, I'll be here week 13 though.
All right, sounds good. Well, great job tonight, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks. Have a good weekend.
Patrick Spangler finishing in third. Let's go to our second place finisher. Brett's caught up with the slide job, Isaac Salas.
Zach, well, you picked up the win in the 358 Modifieds. Well, you come home with the runner-up finish to first and second here at the Knoxville Raceway. Overall, that looked like a fun race to be a part of.
Yeah, it was pretty fun, man. I know that dominant line was that slider line, and Brandon was running it damn near perfection. I feel like I had something for him, but I don't know. That it was very one line, getting towards that middle to end portion of the race. I don't know.
And with being, with the slider line of what we've seen there, especially late in that race, without trying to sort of move to, or move to pass him or move him out of the way, give him the bumper. How else can you try and get around him? I mean, because the top side just didn't look like there was anything there. Even the cut down line, I didn't see anybody using that cut down line. I don't know if it was going to work, but I mean, how do you get by him when he's running the slider line like that?
Hope and pray for a mistake. I don't really know. I don't want to, I try not to use the chrome horn too often, and it was truly just the end of the season. I know that Brandon was running for points, so I didn't want to truly push the issue, and obviously, we're here to have a blast with this throwback, so I was actually all right with kind of running there. I mean, I wish I could have done Gary proud and sweep the night, but sometimes just riding around and kind of having a good time and having a good battle between Brandon, me, and Pat is it makes up for it.
Hey, Patrick was running the inside line pretty much to perfection there at the start of that race. Was there any sort of chance that maybe you trying the low side there towards the back end of that race to see if it was there, or were we just happy running the slider line following Brandon?
I wanted to try the bottom, but I kept missing the berm, and I know that you need to put your left front on the berm, and I was honestly struggling a little bit there. I tried to save, and then I accidentally cooked the tires, and then from there is try to get back to where I want to be for grip wise. And but yeah, I mean, if I could have ran that bottom line any bit better, we might have had a chance there.
Oh, Isaac, you certainly put on a show in the number 112 machine here tonight at the Knoxville Raceway. One victory in the 358 Modifieds and now a runner-up in the Big Block Modifieds. Isaac, congratulations on the second place finish. Congratulations on this season. Before we let you go one final time, we'll let you thank everybody involved on this race car and this race team.
Yeah, just huge shout out to huge shout out to tonight, man. It's championship night with Coast to Coast, and everything that goes on during these weeks, especially this week, has been insane, and it's been fun to kind of lay in bed after missing all the races this week and just get to watch. And so that's always fun for me, to be honest with you. I mean, haven't gotten to watch many of them, but it's been fun to at least support everybody. Big thanks to Dean, the Super Dirt Car Series, all those guys over at Venom Racing, man. They were cheering me on, even though they were literally breathing down my neck at the same point. So that's always they're amazing. Magnum Race Designs, Got You 6 Racing Network, Marty with RSN Trackside, my Gramps, Top Nuts Trucking, Mission 22, everything that they do for our veterans, man. They truly do a lot, and you should go check them out if you're ever thinking about it. And I promise you won't be disappointed. Thanks to the few of my friends. I know Larry's watching. I know my Gramps is watching. So thank you to you guys for sure. That support the hell out of me. And then other than that, thank you to you two. Love your broadcast. Thanks to everyone that's watching. I got to check in a couple times, and it looks like we had a pretty good crowd. So that's always a pleasure to get to race in front of some people. And then just thanks to friends, family, and everyone that supports me.
Isaac, well done on the second place.
Before I forget, I'm sorry. Congrats to Brandon on the win and the championship. I know with that win and how that went out, he got the championship. So congratulations to him as well.
Well, Isaac, congratulations on the run-up finish. Well done on a hell of a season. We'll see you back next week, hopefully, if not the week after for the new season.
Awesome. Thank you.
Isaac Salas, the man that just does not want to let anybody else get a word in. Marty, you caught up with our race winner and our championship winner, Brandon Templeton.
Absolutely. Let's talk with him. Brandon Templeton, what a race, what a win, and you're the champion. How does it feel? He's speechless. He's too excited. Either that or he's trying to call up T-Mac right now. Oh, I think we got you, Brandon. You got us?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, we got you. So, alrighty,
feels
go
pretty
ahead.
good. I mean, it's been a long season. Had some success early in the season. It got later in the season, guys started catching me with the throwaway weeks, and I kind of got nervous. And got a shout out to my teammates, especially Kurt Schatzer. He got horrible draw on championship night. We were all neck and neck, and I think Anthony and I drew first and second in the first heat, and he drew like eighth in the third heat or something. So that's just really long end of the straw there for him. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, that race was not easy with you and I, with Isaac Salas right behind you. Looked like he was trying to make some moves, but you were hanging on. Your car just could go wherever it wanted to.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what he was doing, but I knew my lap times looked pretty good. Each lap was at least comparable to the previous one, and I wasn't falling off bad. And that slider line really left him few options for moves, to be honest. I mean, he kind of caught me once or twice, but, he was going to have to kind of go around the outside or hug the bottom on exit. So that was going to be tough, and I was able to hold on to it.
Absolutely. How much fun did you have tonight honoring running T-Max paint scheme?
I thought that was really cool. I mean, to see all the different cars out there, and it didn't even matter who was driving them. You didn't even know. It was just like all these cool, real cars out there. It was just absolutely amazing to see on the track around you, and to be able to drive T-Max car, was pretty cool. I don't have a lot of connections to the East Coast Modifieds being here in Iowa, but I've seen him race a lot of late models and been a fan, so that's cool.
Who do you want to give shout outs to?
I got to thank Dirt Track Bank, first of all, what they've done for our team and what they've done for Got Your Six Racing Network and supporting our Friday Night Lights is just can't thank them enough. It's absolutely amazing. Got Your Six Racing Network and Joe Halter, Mission 22, Hammer Down Racing Team, and Joe, Kurt, and Brian. It's nice to get Brian out there tonight in a cool car that, he had good connection with the family there, so that's nice. Extreme Images, Maley's Makery, Big C's Lawn Care. You guys for announcing Brett and Marty all season. It's been cool, having everyone out, have good car counts in the big blocks and small blocks. And Thursday's been a pretty fun night for me. So thanks to you guys. Thanks to everyone watching at home.
Alrighty. Well, we'll let you go. Congratulations. Enjoy the win. Enjoy the championship.
Thank you.
All right. Brandon Templeton, your winner here tonight. Dean's with us. Let's bring Dean on in here. I think he wants to say a couple words here. We missed you on the podium, buddy, but what a night this was.
Well, I was hoping for some better finishes, but oh well. But this was cool. I'm gonna go right back and watch the telecast, and to have what do we have? 26 cars the first race and 30 cars this race, and all these throwback schemes. I'm gonna talk to Roger, see if maybe we can do this every season, and maybe we'll do this like week 13 and make a special 100-lap race or something with throwbacks, and maybe we'll do something special like that so it doesn't interfere with the points, because the points are important. You want to stay clean with the points with the guys running for the points and stuff. But what a night! I gotta thank you two for all the work.
Absolutely. Well, we definitely appreciate you, Dean, for all you've done to promote this and help us with a great view count this evening. We had 40 drivers watching, 40 viewers watching, and we got a message in from CD Coville who tuned in tonight.
Oh, great. I think a couple others were watching, and I'll follow up with them. And I also told people that, Brett always keeps the link up, and Coast to Coast keeps the link up so they can watch the race afterwards. But, it was funny. We were in the Discord. I was in Venom Discord, and we were actually all nervous because we feel like we're representing somebody with these schemes on our cars. So it's just a different feel, but that was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it, Marty. And Brett, I hope you got to learn a little bit of what our Northeast Modifieds are and learn some of the drivers.
I loved every minute of it. I loved every minute, and I tell you what, like I said, if you do this every season, you know I'm going to be here one way or another.
Yeah, and there was other guys that wanted to run different schemes that came in late, and I said, guys, you know what? There's going to be more times. We can. There's a lot of throwback schemes out there that we can pick, and I just think it's cool. I'll approach Roger and see what he wants to do, and let's hopefully we can make it an every 13-week deal, and get the participation up going, and it's so cool just to see the full fields, and then we're sitting there watching the telecast while we're racing to see the throwback cars on the screen. So that was neat, guys. So thanks so much for everything you did.
Definitely. I can't wait to go back and watch this too when we wrap up the Cup race at Daytona. So.
Yeah, no, you guys have a good telecast. Thank you again, guys, and just awesome job. I think the two best guys that do iRacing telecasts were in the same booth tonight, and I'm sure that was pretty special.
Dean, we definitely appreciate you. Have a good night and safe travels this week into the Valley.
I appreciate it, Marty, and cheers, mate. Thanks, Brett, for everything you do.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, guys.
That's Dean Reynolds, who promoted this race all these past few weeks. He's been promoting it nearly all season long, and it was great. So, Brett, as you sign off, I'll be taking over the broadcast in a bit. When we sign off, you'll just see the stream have a delay for a pause for a couple of seconds while I get the commercials all ready to go. But, Brett, final thoughts for you.
Just look, a fantastic race for both the 358s and also the big block modifieds, and as Dean sort of alluded to as well, 27 cars in the 358s and then 30 cars in the big blocks. This throwback week, throwback championship night was fantastic to watch. But again, thank you everybody for tuning in here tonight. Again, the Ultimate Dirt TV side of things is going to be shutting down this stream, but the Coast to Coast Racing Network is still going to be live. And again, Marty will be back on the call with the Cup cars from Daytona. So until next time, I thank you from Ultimate Dirt TV. I'm Brett Wheeler signing off, saying good night, and we'll see you back next season.
Keep this link up too.